5 wickets, 255 for 5 in their second innings. And drama in the game between Yorkshire and Northants. Northants are 206 for 9 in their second innings, requiring another 14 runs to win, and it's raining.
Oh, always bloody rains in Yorkshire, doesn't it?
Well, God's own country and all that. So Parnell is 26 not out, and Sanderson is 0 not out. David Willey's taken 3 wickets. Yeah, keep an eye on that. Give you a bit of cricket news. There is a test going on. Sri Lanka need 260 runs to win. They are 177 for 5 in their second innings, but there's a day and a half to go there. Sri Lanka might just attrition them out of existence. We have got batsmen and bowlers and fielders coming out to the crease, and I will hand over to DJ Knackle to jingle up the jingles.
This is a nightclub.
Because lately, Indian openers have been crapping. So drop them all. Pick my and gaggle. Who's the guy that's keeping wicket? Who's the dude selling lots of tickets? Who's the sides number 1? Just a cute girl preps him run. His gloves are so clean, it's preps him run sing.
They are quite the jingles.
Gloves are very clean.
They are, aren't they? Just
very white.
A stark contrast against the red of the Punjab uniform. No real show here of who's going to take the first over, so I'm going to guess it's going to be Rabada. Maybe? No. It is going to be Ishant Sharma.
Ishant Sharma's gonna get you. Gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Learn how to play pace. How in the world you gonna see? Netting against trundlers like me. Who in the hell do you think you are? A superstar? Well, right you are.
He already looks unhappy before a ball's been bowled, doesn't he, Jules?
He looks decidedly brassed off.
It was quite the scowl. A scowl bordering on a Paddington Bear hard stare was coming from Ishant Sharma, and the countdown is only just ticked to 0 as Sharma comes in for this first over, and that is Johnny on the spot and just on middle and off stump, and Singh just plays the ball to a short cover, and there'll be no run.
Can you name a happy fast bowler?
A happy one? I mean, we're talking about
a smiley one,
Smiley one? A smiley one while bowling?
Well, yeah, you said he looks unhappy. They all look like that.
Darren Gough was kind of smiley?
Yeah, I think so. Cheeky, wasn't he? Cheeky, wasn't he? Cheeky little fella.
Would you go as far as to say cheeky enough to be a young scamp? He was
definitely a scamp.
Sharma in again, and that is just defended straight back to the bowler, and there'll be no run.
I won't tell you what's going on with the motor racing. It is about to start, but I won't tell you anything. No spoilers. But if I do go, oh my god,
then I know something's happened, which is a spoiler.
That's fine. That kind of thing is fine.
Yeah, spoilers to that degree.
A Murrayism.
Actually, have you got a good Murray Walker impression in you?
And
it's go when it starts. You can do that. I'm not afraid of that.
Well, if I was doing it proper Murray style, he'd do that, and it wouldn't be go, would it?
Yeah. Then it's go, a red flag, and that is just outside the off stump. Singh tries to cut the ball, probably too close to him to be able to cut under edge, and it's Pant behind the stumps who does the fielding, and there's no run again.
The last 2 matches have seen wonderful things. What are we going to get? Are we going to get a wonderful thing?
I think. I mean, in terms of something that the last game didn't have, I'd like there to be a competitive game.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I'm talking about Butler, and then about what's his name on the other day, on yesterday.
That was me. Sharma in, and that's a swing and a miss by Singh. Just slightly short of a length, and it was not a length to be driving at, past the outside edge, and we're still to get off the mark.
I was discussing this with Baird last night, that we both forget completely what happened in the last game that we saw about 10 minutes ago. Mm-hmm. And I can't remember. Kieran Pollard, thank you. We both can't remember anything in the IPL.
Oh, is that just IPL? I didn't know if it was like
IPL
stuff in general. It's like,
well, he's got short-term memory loss, obviously.
Yeah, I like just standing in supermarkets, not knowing what I want. And Sharma is in again, and now he's just tucking Singh up for a little bit of room, and he can only push the ball out into the covers, and we have 5 dot balls to start the innings.
Leia's with us, and Messi Jez has joined us. Welcome home, Jules, says Messi. I've only just realised that massive congratulations are in order for Gorilla Hendo, who Wimbledon managed to survive in League One despite losing 3-1 yesterday.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, he's Wimbledon and not Milton Keynes, though. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Sorry, got the two confused. Yeah, Wimbledon survived. Yeah.
He still won't be happy though. It does lead us to a bigger, wider question: whether will Hendo will ever be truly happy? Last ball of this first over, and that is a slightly slower delivery, unable to be pushed through the covers by Singh, and we begin, ladies and gentlemen, with a maiden over. Bloody hell.
The top start, though, to a T20 to bowl a maiden over, first up.
That's worth, 12 runs. Leia says, fun fact, on the date Marty McFly reads about the Cubs winning the World Series, they were eliminated from the postseason in the real world.
To be honest, for a good 108 years, well...
And it's go!
There you go. Doesn't that make you feel good to do that? What other voices do you do while you're trudging around your house on your own?
My Tiger Woods. I do a Tiger Woods.
I do a good Henman fist pump.
Oh, it was really, really tough out there. Really tough. Oh.
Opening the bowling alongside Ishant Sharma, you would have done well to get odds for this man. It's Marcus Stoinis.
Good jingle.
All the sun wants is a Marcus Stoinis. He's the
Marcus Stoinis is just outside off stump. It takes Mayank's outside edge, and it dribbles just behind square, and there is the first run off the board. Huzzah! A tentative start from the Punjab Kings, although there really wasn't an awful lot to go on from Sharma's first over. Jules, who were you excited to see play today?
On a personal note, Chris Jordan, Theodora. But actually, it'd be nice to see Devon Milan play, because I'm surprised he's not played earlier.
They've stuck with poor run for a while.
I think we could see. Yeah, and also Darwan, he's having such a good tournament so far, so it'd be good to see him back too. It's the first proper full match I've been able to see, so I'm quite looking forward to actually sitting down and watching one.
Good stuff. Dabbed into the covers again off the second delivery, and both batsmen are now off the mark. Off the schneid. It's always good to see Pant bat, though. It does amaze me, though, with the team that they've got and the squad that they've got, that Steve Smith gets a game. Although he must be happy to be out of, be interesting how he might fit in the Rajasthan team that he was in last year. But
yeah, Smith's a bit of a strange, but I wouldn't have him in any T20 format personally.
You'll be interested about whether he goes with Oz or stays for the test. That's more on leg stump, and that is tucked to square leg. Shikhar Dhawan is in the field. He cannot prevent the third single from the over. And we're halfway through the second over, and it's 3 for no wicket.
Warren says morning all again.
Yeah, morning again. What's his views on the draft? Did he was he feel about Buffalo's acquisitions?
Who? Warren?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I know you don't know.
Can you let us know?
I'm more saying it to Warren, as that is dabbed away into the third man region by Singh for the fourth ball of the over, and there are 4 singles that have come from it.
Farong reckons happy fast bowler Joel Garner.
Yeah, he looked happy enough, although, you know, judging by some of the YouTube clips you can watch of him destroying the toes of batsmen, that wouldn't have been happy facing him.
Old Fire Play says, did my ears deceive me, or have you got Tiger Woods on the commentary? Oh, it's really, really tough doing this. Oh,
Roller.
so tough.
He made himself Scottish.
Yeah, Stonus in, too far on leg stump and tucked round the corner by Mayak. I think they're going to look for 2, but it's Rishabh Pant there taking a new approach to wicket keeping by ducking and allowing the ball to travel over his head. But there is just the single taken. You maybe want to get in touch with him, tell him the gloves are there for a reason, for you to be able to catch things.
I played well out there today. I played well, but it's so tough.
None of my swing, damn it.
Is it just me, or is Jules sounding a bit tipsy, says Ravi now?
She's high on life. Jules provides us with an injection of enthusiasm.
Well, she's excited about seeing
and possibly gin. I mean, I couldn't comment. Last ball of the over, and that is again dabbed down behind square on the offside field by Singh. 3 singles apiece, 6 off the over. What else in the world of social media, Nestle Boy?
Of course, Leia's right, as usual, about happy fast bowlers. Curtly Ambrose.
Is that happy or crazy? I'm not sure if there's a scale.
Yeah, but he massive green off quite a lot of the time, didn't he?
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to give that one.
Yeah,
but there's not many.
Not many.
You know. We've been joined by lots of people on Crick Tracker. Balgovind Mishra, Vikrant Singh, Ramesh Marua, Banti Katiara, Sajit Ra, Abhishek Pratap Singh, Anil Kumar, Zam. What a great name that is. Hope you're all well, wherever you are listening from. Glad to have you on board.
Absolutely. Ishant Sharma in, and that ball is pushed down to deep point. And Ishant Sharma will concede his first run of this particular game.
And Stephen Kelk has joined us on YouTube and asked a question. He's enjoying the coverage, but is this the first YouTube post of this match, Stephen? Yes, you get a prize.
Yep. Tell him what he's won, Bob.
Our love.
Oh.
Is that conditional love or unconditional love?
Unconditional love.
Unconditional love, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you can win.
Yeah.
Join us in the second innings for double money, where the points can really change as Sharma comes in for the second ball of this over, and that's wide and reached for, and it nearly reaches a deep backward square there. I think that's going to end up. It's interesting about whether that's a chance or whether that's just a great stop. But diving forward, a single comes as the result. That's what will go down in the books. But he's flashed away at this, hasn't he? And he's not been in complete control of it.
No, I think the scoreboard pressure is getting to them. Having that maiden first over, and although they ticked over with Stoinis's over, it's been a bit trudgy so far.
Yeah,
from there.
It is a drop. It is a drop there in the deep. Rishabh Pant goes there to tell him not to worry about it too much, and Singh has come down the track to Ishant Sharma, and he's carved that ball over extra cover, and it has hit the sponge, which means 6 runs.
I think Warren's answered your question, but I'm not sure I understand. He says liking shoring up DL and OL.
Yeah. A sign of a team that doesn't really need too much in terms of skill players, so they've strengthened their areas of need.
And who are we talking about?
The Buffalo Bills.
This is football.
American football.
Okay.
Do you want me to go on?
Nope.
No.
You sound thrilled, Nestlers. You really do.
No, it's all right. Sharma in again. And again, a ball slightly back of a length, not there to be driven, but that doesn't stop Singh from trying to do it anyway, and it's a swing and a miss and through to the wicket keeper. 14 from no wicket.
I quite enjoy watching American football. I've seen it live quite a few times, but I don't know anything about the teams and the players and the this, that, and the other. But no, it's good to watch. I've enjoyed it times I've seen it.
Have you been watching the snooker while it's been on?
No.
Oh, you're missing out, man. It's been fantastic.
Who's going to win the final, Jules?
Alex Higgins.
I'm going to go Selby.
I've got a question for you after this ball then about Selby. As Sharma comes in, 5th ball of this over. Yorker length delivery, just squeezed out into the covers and there'll be no run. Does anybody really like Mark Selby?
His mum.
Yeah. What's wrong with Mark Selby?
No, it just doesn't seem a very exciting player. I'm sure he's got fans all over the place, but no, I'm saying he's good, but he's not necessarily popular.
I think he's got that East Midlands vibe going on, where they sound a bit disinterested in everything going on in the world, where actually they're quite... Hang on, he's called the Jester from Leicester. And that's not an ironic term.
That's because those two words rhyme?
No, it's because he's usually quite jovial. He's been quite serious this tournament. There was the face of seriousness, a bit like Ishant Sharma when he went to open bowling here.
Absolutely. His last ball of this 3rd over is attempted to be smeared down the ground, but it just dribbles as far as mid-on, and there'll be a single, and that'll take us to the end of the over. The face of seriousness. That sounds like a mask.
I've never seen him look so serious in the semi-final. I'm trying to remember who he played. No, he wasn't Bingham, was he? He was Bingham. Right. I was hoping for Judd Trump to get through and Robertson, but hey, it wasn't meant to be.
Neil Robertson. But I think Neil Robertson's COVID hair is amazing. It is
phenomenal.
It's absolutely insane. It looks like he's wearing it's like he's taken a ball and carved out just the bottom bit of it and stuck it as on his head. It's amazing. We've got a change in the bowling. The Stoinis experiment lasts 1 over, and express pace comes in its place.
He's a high roller, rock and roller, scariest, deadliest, killing this bowler. He can sink your oats like the Spanish Armada. No one faster, no one harder. What's his name?
And his first ball is just fended at like 1 billion miles an hour into the covers, and there'll be a single. I think more to get him off strike, I think, of anything else. Just like, I want nothing more to do with this. But,
that's easily the best theme tune.
Kisa Rabada is your new batsman. It's just so quick, as it is cut away behind square, and a single will be taken to bring Singh back on strike. He's on 12, Mayank 5. As we see some replays of some good catches that have been made this week, just to confuse us.
Yeah, it's confusing because my stream has gone really, really blocky all of a sudden. I was like, what happened? This over's gone mad. And then I was like, no, it's okay.
The ball's
He's out. He's out again.
Yeah.
He's out a 3rd time. And that is again a Yorker length delivery, which is attempted to be cut over the covers, and the big hands of Steve Smith at mid-off take a catch.
That's a good catch.
Breakthrough. A good catch moving to his left, and Rabada strikes in his first over. And Punjab are 17 for 1. He's trying to get it in that sort of extra cover mid-off space, and he's just the speed and the length of the delivery. He's just not been able to have done anything, and Smith has done the rest. And Singh has gone for 12 off 16 deliveries, caught Smith, bowled Rabada, and all bets are now off because, the universe boss is in.
No's a pretty shit human being.
Yes, he is. But that doesn't stop him from his ability to be able to smear cricket balls to all parts of the ground.
Although his fielding leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
How old is he now? About 40?
206, that's how old he is. 206 years old. He's going to go to the IPL. He's not going to go to the IPL. Is he going to go to the World T20, do you reckon?
If he wants to.
Do you think he'll want it?
Might do. Sean Claxton asked a question. Where's Chris Wokes gone?
Don't know. Don't know if it's an injury or something, or just being rested in a tactical decision.
Interesting. And Warren says, confuse snooker's Fred Davis with Fred West. Brings a whole new meaning to being snookered.
Yeah. Don't do that out loud. Don't do that out loud. Fred Davis, Joe Davis, yeah. Rabada in, full-length delivery, and Gale just leans a bat towards it and goes as far as cover, and there'll be no run.
And with Stoinis, the Stoinis over, Leah always posts a picture of Dolph Lundgren, but she missed it this time. But she posted it just now.
There may well be other Stoinis overs to come, so be prepared.
That was a good catch by Piglet.
He's moved pretty handily
Yeah.
To his left and taken that catch.
Both hands on it. Rabada's 6th wicket in his 7th game.
That's not in a good enough return. That full toss, swinging away from Smith. More of a leading edge that goes as far as the covers, but that was quick at a good 73 knots, 146 kilometres per hour.
We're not going back to that, are we?
Nah. I mean, I just can't do the calculation to feet per second. Last ball of this 4th over, slightly back of a length. Smith just dabs the ball down to the offside field. He'll take a single and he'll keep the strike. And Punjab are 18 for 1 after 4.
I might know the answer to this, but I've forgotten it. Why do they use knots and not miles per hour?
In what way?
On the sea. Boats.
Navy, just weird.
Just being weird.
Yeah, senior service and all that.
Okay.
It's a top question.
Sorry?
It's a top question. I want to know now.
Yeah, I just...
What will the first correct answer, Nestle Boy? What do they win?
Oh.
Are we going back to giving our unconditional love, or have you got something else there in the prize cupboard to be able to offer them?
I'm just going to sneer at them.
You're going to sneer a correct answer.
It just says, does anyone else wonder why Punjab have a strip that makes it look as if they spilled their gravy on their stomachs?
No. We're gonna, while we try and find like a virtual cuddly toy or something, so that we're gonna have a change in the bowling, and Ishant Sharma is out, and Avesh Khan, who's been quite the revelation this year.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, Avesh Khan.
Slightly back of a length, and Chris Gale will take that to mid-wicket, and there'll be a single. Khan was the fielder who put down the chance to Ishant Sharma earlier on in the innings.
Have you noticed?
So, because I want... Go on,
Carry on.
Well, I'm just vying for your unconditional love, to be honest with you. I do have an answer to this knots question.
Oh, go on.
But only if I can have your unconditional love.
Okay, go on then. I'll give it to you.
Hey, God, could you do it more begrudgingly? All right,
bloody hell, you're so bloody demanding, you women. Come on here on this IPL coverage, demanding this unconditional love.
Daddy, I've got enough on the plate.
Just bear with me a second. Khan in again, and that is hit to point, and a quick single taken. Gale takes evasive action, refusing to dive there, and that will be a single that Mayank will take and bring the total to 20. Go on,
Jules, you forget you've got that anyway, because one of the first times I met you were wearing a Clash t-shirt, so it was just like, oh.
Hey, you're going to show some love. Okay, so at sea, in navigational calculation, the statute mile is considered an arbitrary length with no particular significance. And in particular, the replacement of the ordinary measurement with nautical miles and knots at sea helps the mariners to quickly read charts that use latitude and longitude.
Slightly back of a length from Avash Khan, and Gale has stood and delivered and crashed that ball over his head and over the head of mid-on and mid-off, and that's taken a couple of bounces and smashed into the boundary for 4 runs.
That went like a tracer bullet.
No footwork, played through the line of the ball, no problem at all. Chris Gale. Smash.
He hasn't really had a great IPL this year, has he?
He's had a couple of cameo-ish innings. That's a
Did he
swing
give
and miss
46?
at a short pitch delivery, and that's gone through to the keeper. Nice comeback from Avish Khan as we get the signal for that's the 1 over shoulder height for the over.
Didn't he get 46 in the last match? Am I dreaming that? I mean, I agree with you. I don't understand. Well, I have to say, I know, I appreciate that he's a bit of a controversial character, but Chris Gale. But I just don't understand how. Obviously, I understand because he lives off a legend, but even so, he can barely move in the field. Everything is 4s and 6s or a wicket, i.e., his own. I just don't understand why he still is playing in this format.
A full-length delivery encourages him to drive. He kind of inside edges it onto his own pan and dribbles out just behind square on the offside field, and they'll come through for a single. And Gale has gone for a run of ball 7 so far. Mayank's on 6. Total 25 for 1 with 1 ball left to go in this 5th over, and it's been really quite the struggle in this power play so far.
I suppose he's star power still, isn't he, Jules?
Yeah, but you can only so much live off a legend before it completely collapses. Do you know what I mean? It's just.
And that ball is crashed through the covers by Mayank before anyone had a chance to blink, and that's gone for 4 runs. And with the score on 29 for 1, Nestle boy, what else have we got?
Well, I was just going to say, I suppose that you know, with the IPL, you do look at marketing and stuff like that, and he's a marketable figure. Yes, I think there's going to come a point very soon where they probably sort of say thanks, Chris, and that's it. On the knots thing, Jeff Perkins says they measured how far travelled at sea by throwing a rope with a knot over the end of the side, letting the ship move forward until it had played out, dragging it in and throwing it out again. The length of the rope being known, they could measure distance.
Ooh.
There we go. That's Rabada in short pitch delivery, and Gale has swivelled and pulled this away and nearly smashed the window of the Safari 4x4 that's stationed way too close to the boundary, and that's gone for 6. Why is that car there? Apart from
you just hit it.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you score extra if you hit it?
I think you should.
Yeah. Put it through the driver's window and you get 12.
You obviously didn't notice, but I had some of my breakfast on my head.
What?
I'm not even going to ask.
Oh, and he's bowled him. A full toss, and that has completely demolished the stumps of Chris Gale. Quite the miss of a Yorker length delivery. It was going to be halfway up his bat if he'd just put the bat on the ground, but Gale has played all around it, and 2 stumps have gone flat out of the ground, middle stump and off stump. And Chris Henry Gale, that is it for you, sir. 6 and out.
Yeah, could we be seeing the last of Mr. Gale in this tournament?
If only there was a number 1 T20 international T20 player in the world who could come in at number 4 for Punjab.
If only.
If only such a man existed.
Introducing the next generation David.
That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Darwin Milan, congratulations.
Darwin Milan comes in at number 4. someone just having told him what a bat was just before he came out to bat. I know it's been a while since you've played a game of cricket. This is how it all works.
Jersey Oak reckons Gale's been working on his fitness this year. He actually ran someone out the other day.
You've got to be a bit hacked off though if you're Milan. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know they're getting paid an absolute mint for being out there, but you come in behind Chris Gale.
Yeah. Unless you just accept that you're not as interesting as he is.
Just the world's best T20 player at the moment. But hey, when it comes to the bat, but let's overlook that. Let's not bring that into it. Those stats, what do they mean?
Meaningless. Yeah. As Rabada is in full-length delivery again, misses his Yorker, and Milan just dabs that down to a wide third man, and we'll get off the strike with his first delivery.
So I've got a question, and I think this one might be one for our listeners because we're all going to be a bit preoccupied. In this tournament, is there any way that someone can find out, or it's shown somewhere in all the multitude of stats somewhere in the IPL, how many of Gale's runs in this tournament so far have actually been singles or twos, and how many have been boundaries?
Rabada in. And Mayank dabs that ball again down to the third man region, and Hetmeyer is there, but he can't stop them from taking two. Well ran, those Punjab batsmen. We're going to have a change at the end of this over. Knuckles going to come in and do some summarising. Jules, you're going to slip into the social media chair, and Andy's going to come in and take me off ball by ball.
That was terrible.
It's a terrible delivery, but it's kind of moved in the air. It's done for Gale. All ends up.
It's so bad he didn't know what to do with it.
Absolutely, as that is short of a length and dabbed by Mayank, and that's gone through a short third man. Hetmeyer further square and on the boundary. Sponge runs in and keeps everything down to a single. One ball left to go with this over before we all have a massive switch around. 39 for 2, so advantage Delhi, I would say. Rabada with
very much so.
Rabada's got 2 for 13 coming to the end of his second over. Good to see that he is taking wickets in the power play again.
Are we in the Modi Dome?
I'm not sure. Dabbed down by Milan, tries to beat a short third man, cannot do so. That's the end of the over. 39 for 2. I'll see you guys later.
I have an answer to your question, Jules, about Chris Gale's boundary percentage. 72% of his runs this year in boundaries, but that's what you pick Chris Gale for. And there's a lot of stats that suggest that the team with the higher boundary percentage, certainly the higher number of sixes, and wins T20 games more often than naught. And on such hit it, don't bother running notes, Andy Ward.
Hello.
Yeah, we were just discussing the effectiveness of latter era Chris Gale.
Well, he's a lot more latter. Can you hear me okay?
You're a little bit quiet, but we can hear you just about.
I'll tell you what would help. Actually plugging myself into the microphone. Sorry, can you... How is that?
Go again?
How is that?
Yeah, there we go.
Hey!
Okay, sorry about that. Yes, well, 41 is the latter of anyone's career, unless you want to start playing over 50s cricket. Anyway.
Or Darren Stevens.
Or Darren Stevens, indeed. Just coming into his prime at 41. Lalit is into the attack, replacing Avesh Khan, and he is pulled out for a single by Mayank, 40 for 2.
Get a jingle for Lalit Yadav, who's been a pretty useful sort of utility player for Delhi this year. They don't have Ashwin, who is dealing with ill family members. His wife posted on Twitter that quite 6 different members of his family have had it of the extended family have had it at different points. They all seem to be okay, though.
6 sixes in an over twice. La 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 lead.
He's short to Milan, who punches it out to the sweeper. Marcus Stoinis pick up another single. So you were talking about Milan coming in behind Gale. What about both of them coming from in behind Prabhan Singh?
Prab Simran is an opener. Having said that, so is Chris Gale. Chris Gale. He did well last game, and Gale has batted quite well at 3 for Punjab.
There does come a point where you can get married to your choices. Anyway, Mayank pushes that up to long on, and that'll be another single.
Yeah, obviously they don't. KL Rahul hospitalised with an emergency appendix surgery, which is wish him well. I mean, appendectomies are routine enough operations, but still not pleasant and possibly terminal for his IPL.
Well, yes, if not for him. That one's punched out to Stoinis as well. Yes, I had an appendectomy. Well, there were complications. I wouldn't have been playing around the IPL for a couple of months.
Well, it's just, I mean, even if it goes well, you'd think, it's at least a week of rest. He's got to leave the bubble, come back into the bubble.
Must be at least 2, surely.
Come back into the bubble.
Don't take medical advice from Cricket Show. Over the wicket, and Mayank drives out to cover Hetmeyer with the fielding, and there'll be no run.
Can we just have a line of Andy Ward one-liners? Don't take medical advice from a Cricket Show. That was
it's not the first time I've said it in the last year.
True.
Lalit is in to complete the over in a bit of a swing from Milan. It beats point and it flies away for 4. We'll not look at that one. Point seemed to fall over rather than dive, but maybe it was not all that close to him. In fact, it was Mayank again, excuse me.
Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Yeah. Give it to me 4 times.
Incidentally, that's the first time that Kahisa Rabada has ever taken more than 1 wicket in an IPL power play.
Well, and certainly did it in quite an unusual way. Huge full toss. Chris Gale just missed. 47 for 2 Punjab after 7. We're halfway through this IPL already. All teams have played 7 games, which I would assume means everybody has played each other once, but it is dangerous to make these assumptions with the IPL.
Yes, there's been we're not into repeat fixtures just yet.
Well, this should be a repeat fixture, in theory. This should be the first one. I just had a look at the table, everyone's played 7.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so I'm trying to remember the result of the previous game.
Completely gone.
They went back in April, wasn't it? I think Capitals won by 6 wickets. So
very good.
I think that was
sounds right.
last
yeah.
Well, I mean, Delhi have been very good this year. They are 5 from 7, as it were. 5 and 2 in American football parlance. The Punjab Kings 3 and 4. It's going to be very tight again, probably. It certainly was last year.
XR is into the attack, and Milan pushes him into the leg side, up to mid-on. Steve Smith, and that'll be an easy single.
Let's get a jingle for Akshar Patel, who was one of the players of the season last year. Has come back from COVID and has done so quite well.
The stroke plays diverse and as sweet as a slice of Battenberg. Aksha.
Tosses it up and flicked rather by Mayank out to cover. Didn't quite get his direction right. Hetmeyer picked it up. There's no run.
Yeah, looking back at the first game between these two this season, Punjab Kings made 195 for 4 with 60s for a slow 61 for KL Rahul and a fast 69 for Mayank Agarwal.
Rather in towards leg stump, that one from Axar. It's tipped into the leg side. Non-striker Malan wanted to, Mayank did not, so they settled for 1.
And then Shikhar Dhawan got 92 off 49 balls with Prithvi Shaw 32 off 17 and some Humpty down the order from Marcus Stoinis to see Delhi across the line with 10 balls to spare.
Well, so much for my memory, because now you mention it like that, I commentated that game.
Yeah, so did I.
Axar is round to Milan. He pushes it past cover. There could be 2 here if he's got his direction right. I think he has. Comes back for 2. Shikhar Dhawan with the fielding. Yes, it all does tend to blur into one with the best of intentions. I've also been out of the loop for a couple of days. And we're just really getting into the business end of this IPL. And the team that surprised me, to be honest, is Chennai. I didn't really see them joint top at this stage. Axar's in again and tipped into the leg side again by Milan. Just a single this time.
Yeah, they've kind of swapped problems in a way. Last year the bowling was very good and the top order batting lacked intent and fluency. This year they've been very good with the bat at the top of the order. Ruturaj Gaikwad and Faf du Plessis have been in great form. Rainer's made a big difference.
Rainer's back, yep.
Raidu's batting very well. Moeen's batting really well.
Yeah, without too much of a change of personnel. I mean, Rainer was a big miss last year. That one's carved away by Mayank out to deep square. Be another single, 6 runs off the over, no boundaries. It's 53 for 2 off 8.
I mean, the one thing they've had a bit of an issue with is death bowling. Leave aside yesterday, because Kyron Pollard can happen to anyone. But they have had a couple of occasions where the death bowling has let them down. But yeah, they are a good team full of very good and very experienced players, and they've kind of taken the handbrake off a little bit this year. Jules,
Yes, and all working well, yep.
So Leah's with us. Oh, I love Leah. She's always with us no matter what. So said they're pretty good with. This is going to be a challenge for me to say. I'm going to say appendix. That's it. I'm going to say appendix operations just for the ease. These days, they go in through the navel, leaving no visible scar. That's definitely an improvement on that operation, isn't it?
Not a very good ball from Lalit, although the fielder is round at long leg, and the batsman Mayfield should have picked up 4 from that. Only the 2. Just chucked that one down the leg side.
Slightly better ball than it might have been, though, because he had the field for it at least.
Yeah, when you reach the point where it's wide, if the batsman hadn't hit it, though, that's a bit too far down leg. Anyway, he kind of got away with it. It's 55 for 2. Mayank 23 off 17, Milan 7 off 7, as is his wont. Also short and pulled forward of square this time by Mayank, but Steve Smith is round a bit on. Rather tries to throw the ball before he's got it, and that allows the batsman to pick up 2.
Yeah, there was some urgency from Punjab Kings, but it's all sort of dissipated in the last couple of overs. Then only 8 off Lalit's over, only 6 off Akshar Patel's over. This is the kind of thing where you slip in a few overs from the finger spinners, and suddenly you're only scoring at a run a ball.
Indeed, they really need to look for the boundary once or twice. I'm not quite sure where that one's gone. Out to deep cover, I think. Yeah, looks like it. That'll be a single.
So going back to what Naka was saying, that 72% of Gales' runs are scored by boundaries, need boundary hitters. Here's a question for you two, and no research in Naka. Guess what his average is? His batting average in this tournament so far?
I mean, he's not had a great season, I know that much. He's only scored a few 40s. Probably, I'd say probably 21 or so, maybe.
Yeah, it's 25. It's just because you're going to score boundaries doesn't mean. I mean, if you're going to bat at 3, you expect to at least get another 10 more runs than that.
Pitched out to deep cover by Milan. They're going to come back for 2 again.
Yeah, it's also his slowest season since 2017, so which is the other thing, which is again not really what you pick Chris Gale for. I know he starts slowly and trusts himself to build. He's coming to the tail end of his career. He's probably got a couple, maybe one more good year in him. And his powers are waning a little bit, but
Matches up with us all. Lalit is in, steps away Milan, but can only push it out to cover, and there'll be no run. But speaking of slow starts, David Milan does what he does.
Yeah,
he's on 9 off 9. Well, that's what you're going to get, really.
Yeah, and you certainly should do. He didn't set the world alight in the England-India T20 series, but well enough in the One Day International series, though.
Lalit to complete the over. It's also been boundary free so far and will remain that way as it was tipped out towards deep square. Another single. That is 8 off the over. And as you say, Delhi just sneaking in a few cheapish overs as we go into the strategic timeout.
Before we get into the timeout, sponsored by Woodstock, of course. Go to Woodstock Cricket's website and enter the code GC Radio for 15% off all of their gear, including their wonderful bats. Made by a master bat maker. They're fantastic stuff, and join the likes of Stephen Finn on their as Woodstock Cricket users. Also Craig Brathwaite, I think, and a few others who are knocking around and have been doing well recently. The final point I want to think on Chris Gale is Punjab. They've dropped Nicholas Pooran because he's not been able to score any runs at all this season. They don't have KL Rahul available to them now. I don't know how many more options they've got.
Well,
put David Milan up the order.
they could do. I don't think you should be leaving out a batsman like Puran at all. He's a bit in the Maxwell camp. He's liable to have a run of low scores, but he's a very aggressive player. I think you pick him for all the games, or you buy someone else.
I would tend to agree. I mean, Punjab is slowly becoming like RCB was, where genius goes to die. Maxwell
they've had a bit of a resurgence.
Yeah, they've been excellent this season, RCB. The other day notwithstanding.
So KL Rahul's out. Who's Punjab's captain?
Mayank Agarwal.
Agarwal, okay, makes sense. And of course, we were. I know you've already done this game and been treated to a Joss Bottler masterclass by the sound of it, but we were wondering what the Sunrisers could do, and they ended up leaving their captain out, pulling in Mohammad Nabi.
Yes, who bowled one over. It was the 15th over to a well-set Joss Buttler, and it didn't go well.
Well, that can happen.
They're right with the bat, though, to be fair.
Yes.
It was typical Nabi innings, but it was a bit bash-bash. Did he get 17 or so?
Yeah, 17 off 5. He's a good player, but the game was done by the time he came in.
Well, I think Sunrisers are the last team who are going to chase down 220 or whatever it was. That's not their strength.
No, they bowled Rashid Khan a couple of overs in the power play, and 4 overs 1 for 24, which is pretty much what Rashid Khan does every game. And they bowled alright. It's just they didn't have anything else to go with. And once Butler played out Rashid Khan with a little bit of difficulty, it has to be said. He has a bad record against Rashid Khan, and then just no one else knew where to bowl to him once he got going.
No, I know it's only one data point, but that is my Exhibit A in why Joss Buttler should open. That's 20 overs. He's just going to win the game.
Yeah, totally. Jules, what we got?
It's very, very quiet. So Kay is with us on our YouTube channel. It says, finally, Joss the boss. And on Twitter, Durban Oak, I think, was saying about suddenly Chris Gale doing some work on his fitness, and Warren has replied back to say, I think it has something to do with Ted Malt. But it's largely quite quiet on the old social media for us today.
Rather, a big flurry at the start of the innings, and then it's all gone a bit quiet, much like this Punjab innings.
Yeah. That's probably why it's gone quiet.
Yeah.
Maybe we are in just a bit of a holding pattern in this game, I think, but Milan's had his 10 off 10, so he should be able to get going. As Axar is in to him again, hits him on the pad. There's much more of an appeal than I think the ball deserved. It's a lot leg-sidey to me, and they come through for a leg bye. You got the timer. Oh, he's going to review. I think that's a bit hopeful.
Yeah, maybe it's clipping the outside of leg stump, but I think
at best.
I think the percentages are not with Akshar and Rishabh Pant.
Batsman having a chat while we look at this one.
That was definitely out. Was that definitely out? I don't know.
As are Rishabh Pant and Axar Patel. But we're not seeing any footage just yet. Here we go. It might not be that bad.
Inside edge. It's not far.
It's hit just in front of middle. It might be a little bit better than we thought. There could be an inside edge. We'll have to look at that. There is not. And maybe I will certainly say for now it's a better appeal than I gave it credit for initially.
Yeah, me too. It's hit the sort of leg stump half of middle stump. Maybe.
Here we go. I think he might now be in trouble. He's clipped it. It's like 50. It's like 40% hitting, but that's umpire's call, and that's going to be not out. So better review than we gave it credit for. And of course, I assume they don't lose the review.
No,
for umpire's call.
I guess they've read that right. Fair play. A better percentage call than either of us thought.
Anyway, it's still one run, one leg by. Shikhar Dhawan thinks it's the biggest injustice in the history of cricket. So he does his dying swan. David Malan just breathes out deeply.
No boundaries since the end of the 7th over.
And I think that was there's only one in that over, I think.
Yeah, there's only been 3 boundaries and 2 sixes so far in 9.1 overs.
Right, Aksar's back in. He's got a slip. Mayank does play that very wristy cover drive, but he can't beat Shimron Hetmeyer that time either, and it's a dot ball.
News from the county championship. They got back on, did Yorkshire, and they've won by 1 run.
Aksar's in again, a little bit shorter, pulled away into the leg side by Mayank. 2 fielders converge, and one of them picks it up quite comfortably. And just one there, yeah, good bit of fielding.
Sorry, Nak, we just broke up there. So was that Yorkshire or Northants who won by 1 run?
Yorkshire, they got back on. Yorkshire have won by 1 run.
Jammy sods.
Wayne Parnell caught behind by Johnny Tattersall off the bowling of Steve Patterson for 33 off 102 balls.
Aksar's a little bit short again, but he doesn't get punished as that one is punched out to point by Milan, who's now 10 off 12 and only 3 off 4 balls so far in this over. Aksar's in again. Nope, no he's not. A bit of a stutter. Turns around. Here he comes. Left arm overs for left-hander. And that's more of a length ball, which Milan again punches out to Hetmeyer at cover, and there's no run. Could get away with a very cheap over here, Aksar. In fact, only 2 runs off this over from 5 balls. Here he comes. And again, it's a fraction short, but again, Milan can't beat points. And he's rather got away with one there, Aksar. Only 2 runs off the over. 63 for 2 off 10. And this starts to become a little bit of a concern for the Punjab Kings.
Yeah, it's a very, very stodgy innings so far. I'm just sitting there thinking, how long is it going to take for the Capitals, or how many overs will it take for the Capitals to get this?
I mean, they have to go 10s from here to get 160, which doesn't sound too imposing. I don't know the ground history.
Quite a decent pitch. I mean, it's a new stadium, or fairly new stadium, the Modi Dome. It's only had its first game this year when England toured India, but it is a quickish pitch. The boundaries aren't that big. Delhi Capitals have a very good batting lineup. The Punjab Kings have a sort of patched together bowling attack.
Yeah, you've got to be favouring Delhi at the moment, but they can't bowl finger spin forever. Navesh is going to come back to replace Lalit.
You could see
Hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, Avesh Khan. Pull on the stumps, please. Pull us a maiden, please.
Well, he's got 1 ball towards that, as Mayank can only once again chop that down to backward point for no run.
13 wickets this season, Avesh Khan. 7.51
Must be up there in the wickets table.
Yeah, only behind Chris Morris and Harsha Patel, and a better economy rate than either of them. Well, Avesh doesn't bowl as much as the death as either of those two.
Yep, more of a middle over bowler. Here he comes. And that's swung away by Mayank, but he hasn't got the power. He's just lobbed it into the direction of square leg. It'll be another single.
Harsha Patel's obviously is Ravindra Jadeja assisted. 37 run over that Jadeja thumped up in the other week.
Oh, his run rate, right, yeah. 37, that's careless. I could do better than that. Probably. I'd probably bowl a wide, actually, yeah. Milan, 10 off 14 in the 11th over. And he knows that Punjab have to do a bit better than this. Rishabh Pant windmilling his arms would suggest to move someone rather than tell them they're going to bowl the next over in club cricket style. Milan punches into the offside. It's straight to the cover fielder again, and even though he bobbles it a little bit, there's no run.
This is very much what Kane Williamson was doing earlier for the Sunrisers. He was playing some nice shots, but could not beat the field and ended up getting 20 off 22 balls.
Yep, and he is the master of placement, if anybody is. Just goes to show you can't do it every day.
Under a run a ball off the last 5 overs.
Clubbed away by Milan, but he can't beat Hetmeyer at mid-wickets. And he really could have done better with that one. Was a short ball. Good piece of fielding, but no run.
Jules, are you sensing some tension from Darwin Milan here? He really tried to give that a slap. Kind of lost his shape a bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of those things where you first game in, you want to impress, but actually the bowling's not been great, but they just can't seem to get off the square, and just like you say, keep on finding. It's the same fielder as well. Keep on finding Hetmar, and that's about it. It's very stodgy innings.
The full ball, and that is punched out, and they're taking a pretty quick single there. It flicks the stumps. I think the batsman was in. But Milan 11 off 17, and you get to a point where you're thinking it's even worse, because if I get out now 11 off 17, that's going to be disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Milan's international career has been built on catching up. He's in pretty comfortably for that. He in fact hit the stumps before the ball did.
Is that what happened? Because it looked a bit confused.
Yeah. Joss Butler earlier today scored 42 off his first 37 balls and then 82 off his last 27.
Well, Yorker, and it is just Mayank just drops his bat on it. The bowler is up very quickly, and it's another tidy over. 2 runs off that over. It's 65 for 2 off 11, and something has to give here. Something has to give.
I have a feeling it might be Milan's wicket, but we shall see.
It might be. Mayank doesn't seem to be hitting it hard enough to hole out in the deep. It'd be interesting to see who bowls this over. Might be another one from Axar. Keep the pressure on.
Yeah, or you go try and blast again with one more over Rabada, but then you want him at the death, possibly.
I wouldn't think so. Got plenty of options.
Yeah.
Ishant and Stoinis.
Yes.
Bowl the seam. Then you've got to juggle it. 4 seamers and 2 spinners. You don't want to.
No, I mean you want Rabada.
Leave yourself with too few options at the end.
They've got some batting to come. Deepak Huda's been in decent form this season. Shah Rukh Khan is a powerful player, and Harpreet Brar was superb against the Royal Challengers Bangalore.
Well, it is going to be a change.
Yeah,
tall, fast bowler.
Yeah, he usually bowls out before the death, Ishant Sharma.
Ishant Sharma's gonna get you.
And flashes that one past Milan. It's through to Rishabh Pant for no run.
Self together, darling. Learn how to play pace. How in the world you gonna see? Netting against trundlers like me. Who in the hell do you think you are? A superstar? Well, right you are.
Again the other day where Chris Jordan had to hit 30 off 18 balls to get Punjab to 120.
Gosh, well, they might be in a similar situation here. Ishant is into Milan, steps across, flashes it over extra cover. That's his shot, and that's going to be 6.
Finally.
Too much width from Ishant Sharma.
Really hops and kicks. The number of the day is 6.
Alas, not so far for Punjab Kings, the number of the day being 6. More of that, please.
Yeah, too short, too wide, and that's, as I say, a favourite shot of Milan's. And I think his eyes lit up when he saw that one.
So the first boundary since the end of the 7th over, so that's 10, 11, 20 balls.
Yep, 71 for 2. Only 6 boundaries in the innings so far. Ishant is in again. That's a bit tighter, and Milan just drops it into the offside. It's a quick single to backward point, and Mayank was hurrying a bit and missed the stumps though. Might have been interesting if that one had lit up the Zing bales.
Putting pressure on him, trying to. That's another sign of the pressure that he has put him on himself, Darwin Milan, with this. I mean, again, his game is built on this, and this is what he wants to do, and it has worked for him in international cricket, but it is high risk.
It certainly is, and we've seen up until that 6, only 4 runs off the previous 2 overs. And that's what's really backed Punjab Kings into a bit of a corner here. But Ishant is now going to come into Mayank. Eventually. The umpire is holding him back for some reason. Mayank surveys the finally takes his guard. Here comes Ishant, sorry.
Who can I hit it straight to this time?
Well, exactly. And it's a Yorker, which he just bunts into the offside, and they'll pick up 1.
That, to be fair, was a good ball from Ishant Sharma. It wasn't a great deal that Mayank could have done with it.
No, I don't think so. Yorker, not the wide Yorker, but just a foot outside of stump. He almost just tapped it into the ground for a single.
Yesterday I was commentating on Kyron Pollard hitting the ball to all parts, and I think I've need to readjust my expectations to normal people.
Yes, or mortals. Almost an element of wrist in almost everything Mayank does.
Yeah, even when he hits down the ground off the spinners, he gets right under the ball and lofts it at the at the point of impact.
38 off 38, this partnership. That's a poor ball, and it's helped down to long leg by Milan, and that will be 4. I feel Ishant has released the pressure a little bit here.
Yeah, short fine leg up, you can't be bowling that line.
No. That's just pretty filthy, and Milan helped himself.
Yeah, Milan is a very good player of the pull and the hook. I mean, he's always waiting for that shot to some extent, and that inside out over cover.
So 12 off the over so far, with 1 ball to go, and 2 men short at third man, and also a short fine leg. Ishant is in, it's a full ball, as you'd expect with that field, and Milan punches it up too long off for a single. Better over for Punjab, it's 78 for 2 off 12.
So Ravi Nair has posed a question, what's your current IPL 11? So he's put his out there. What would be your IPL 11? I'm going to ask that to everybody, so including Al and Nestlers as well, to pick up at some point during this match. Warren says he's hugely grateful that he doesn't have to listen to KP commentating on Hotstar. Leah has said, I want internet superstar Rich Evans to sing that Avesh Khan jingle. He's sung the original many times on camera. And Armchair Cricket Podcast has BMO.
Boring middle overs.
British Medical Organisation.
Boring middle overs.
Don't exist in T20s, right? And what are the Punjab Kings doing? This partnership is 30 runs of 5.5 overs. Mayank is becalmed, and Milan's approach may not work in the IPL. We shall see.
Well, Lalit is going to come back, 2 overs for 16. He's going to bowl round the wickets to Milan. Very full ball, full toss in fact. Punched up to long off for a single. And honestly, my IPL 11, I probably wouldn't really be able to help you.
I'm working on one. It might take me a little while, but there's a few obvious candidates.
I will read out Ravi Nair's if we get a bit of a break in play and rattle
Please
it through.
do, yes. Lalit's back in again though to Mayank, around the wicket to the right-hander as well, and that was a very outside leg stump. Mayank swept it round to long leg, but only a single. So what does Ravi have for us?
Darwan, Shaw, Ali, Maxwell, Pant, Hardik Pandya, Krunal Pandya, Pollard, Rashid Khan, Cummings, I'm assuming Axar Patel and Bumrah.
Okay, I think he's stuck to the rules there, 4 overseas players. That one is punched out towards deep point by Milan for a single. Has Hardik Pandya done a lot in this IPL?
Yeah, I had a look at his 11. That was the one serious point of contention.
Contention.
Yeah, he had a decent cameo the other night in support of Pollard, yesterday in fact. But that was the first time he's looked at all fluent this season with the ball, with the bat, and he hasn't bowled.
Oh, it's a full toss, and it's a bit of ugly cricket all round. Mayank rather scooped it up towards mid-off, but he did beat Shikhar Dhawan and run away for 4.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Also, by his standards, Rishabh Pant hasn't had a brilliant tournament. Obviously,
but who would stand out as a wicketkeeper batsman?
I don't see how you can have an IPL 11 for this season and not have AB de Villiers in it.
Yeah, is he keeping wicket at the moment?
He is for RCB.
Okay. Shorter ball, and those wrists of Mayank in play again. So he scoops that one out to deep cover, but it'll just be a single. Punjab 86 for 2 with 1 ball to go in the 13th over. Still, I would suggest on course for about 160, something like that. They have wickets in hand in their favour.
Yeah, they've got some power in the middle order, but as I say, it's very difficult to slow down then speed up again.
It is. Milan's back on strike for the last ball of this over. He steps away and pushes out towards the sweeper on the offside, and that'll be a comfortable single to end the over. 9 off it to 4 and 5 singles. It's 87 for 2. I think we're going to have a change at the end of the next over.
Yeah, indeed. Jules, what we got, if anything?
It's absolutely as quiet as anything. So we'll also throw it over to our listeners as well for your IPL 11 so far, based on what you've seen. Or unless you all agree with Ravi Nair.
Could do. Good mask discipline in the Punjab supporters area.
Yeah.
I think people are at least becoming more aware of everything that's happening in India.
Yeah, mostly team branded. A few bits of.
Well, they're all wearing one. That's the main thing.
Yeah, there were some nice sort of floral masks on display in the Rajasthan Royals dugout earlier today, but they were all wearing them, which is good to see. Much better than BCCI board president Saurav Ganguly.
Axar comes in and Milan had a big swing. I think that's bowled him. Round his legs.
Not round his legs. It's turned in between bat and pad and taken out his leg stump.
I think that was behind his legs. Let's have another look. He's bowling left arm round, and I was first of all expecting. No, you're right. He's just stepped right out across in front of the ball. Didn't really get anywhere near it. Axar celebrates in Milan. 25 off 25. Milan gonna Milan. 26 off 26, in fact.
Yeah, when it doesn't work, it looks ugly and it puts himself and his team under a lot of pressure.
It does.
You know, with Akshar Patel, he bowls so straight. If you miss one of those, you're almost certainly LBW or bowled.
Going to be in trouble. Anyway, the new batsman is going to be Deepak Huda. He has 1 ball under 7 overs to make an impact on this game.
Deepak Huda, are you looking for a good time? Deepak Huda, are you ready for my love?
Axar emboldened by that wicket. And he's only gone for 7 runs in his 2.1 overs as well. The field looks much the same for Huda. Deep cover, long off, long on. Back deep square, I'm sure, and probably a man out at cow.
Milan scored 12 runs off 16 balls of spin today.
Yeah, not ideal. And the Punjab Kings think tank of Kumble, Flower and Rhodes having a good think about that. Slips back in. Axar's round the wicket, but it's on the pads of Huda. Tips into the leg side, looking for 2. They should get it. Oh no, it's sent back. Have another look. Just the ball had a very leg-sidey flight start to it. Certainly would never have been LBW if he'd got his pad in the way. As Axar was bowling left arm round to the left-hander. Milan rehearses the shot he wishes he had played. The batsman at the same end. They've thrown to the other end, but Rishabh Pant was able to complete. Whoever was last into the crease will be out, and that is what the umpires are trying. They've gone to the TV, even though someone's run out by literally 22 yards. The reason they've gone to the TV is to find out who was last back in the crease, and neither batsman wants to say it was me. I think it's Mayank. One of those situations where both batsmen race back into the crease. It was played out, in fact.
So it'll be a dead ball at the point the wicket was taken.
If this were baseball,
what a great still!
If this were baseball, it would be a double play. They have raced each other to the same end and both lost.
Both been out. I thought they were both in at the bowling end. It turns out they were both out at the bowling end, diving. So I guess it's whoever's closest.
They were literally both run out at both ends.
That's quite an interesting one. If you make it, you want to be the last one in. But if you No, if you make it, you want to be the first one in. But if you don't make it, you want to be the furthest away.
Deepak Huda's out because he is closer to the stumps which were broken first. That's a contender for one of the worst all-time bits of running.
Well, what happened was it was punched out to cover. I think it was Shimron Hetmeyer.
Funnily enough,
No,
it's
go
out.
ahead. No.
I think it was Shimron Hetmeyer who kind of fumbled it. And one batsman thought there was a run, and the other did not. They were both herring back to the same end. That's Huda that's out. I thought it was Mayank. And Hetmeyer were on the ground, just threw it in along the ground to Aksar, who, in the event, completed the run out, even though we thought he had to throw it back to Rishabh Pant to run someone out. But in the end, it was all, as John Arlott said, very tragic.
There must be a run out here. Oh, how tragic. How tragic, how tragic, how tragic.
Alternatively...
Indeed, the tragic comedy. Aksar is into Mayank, who prods it into the offside. Out to Hetmeyer, they're not chancing it this time.
So, yeah, Deepak Huda was closer to the stumps at the non-strikers end where Akshar broke the wicket first. And, well, if it were baseball, it would be a double play.
Well,
It's cricket.
It was all happening. Aksar's got the slip back in, and the upshot of all that was another economical over for Aksar with 2 wickets, even though only one of them goes down to him, and that was close again, as you can hear from Akhil's drawn-in breath. Batsmen came back for 2, but they did get there, although I think we may have another look on the TV. No umpire's confident enough that they were in there. And so 2 for 3 off this over, and Aksar has figures of 1 for 10, plus a run out.
And again, we talked about David Malan taking some very, very quick singles. This is the pressure that can be put on teams, and there was clearly no calling at all between Mayank and Huda, and their heads had exploded.
That one's played to Hetmeyer again, can't keep him out of the action. There's no run. Delhi with another successful over for them, 90 for 4 Punjab with only 6 overs left. We're going to have a little change, and we're going to have a timeout.
To try and work out what on earth they were trying to do. I have to say, Andy, that was very well described, given the absolute chaos that...
I didn't think it was. I thought you were too kind. I actually thought they were run out at the other end. But we got there. Someone was out. That's my description.
Yeah, it is the powerful Deepak Huda run out for 1 off 1. I don't think I've ever seen both batters run out at both ends at the same time.
You could have done
it. Not watched Jeff Boycott in his prime, obviously.
You could have done an Alan Partridge there and gone, oh, he's out. Oh, and another one. Leo's sent in her top IPL team. It runs Krunal, captain, Krunal, ABD wicketkeeper Pollard, Krunal, Bumrah, Warner to carry the drinks very enthusiastically based on today's performance. There you go.
Yes.
We all dream of 11 Krunal Panjas, or 8 it seemed in that case.
He's had a decent season. Not been at his best with the ball, but he's batted well enough. Batted higher up the order this year because Ishan Kishan's now been dropped. So he's batting 4 and doing okay.
Well, they've always got a lot of options, Mumbai.
The Pandya brothers have stepped up. They and their mum have donated 200 oxygen concentrators to parts of rural India.
Wow.
Well done them.
Camaro Siang needs our help. He's in West Africa and he's looking for a good painter. So if there's anyone in West Africa...
Painter and decorator or portrait artist?
Just said good painter, okay. So if there's anyone out there can help Camaro out...
You can pass them on to me if someone can do a job in West Africa one week and London the next.
You give him a shout out on Facebook. Yeah. He's after a painter. One of the more bizarre messages that we get on Crick Tracker. Blair says, "Yeah, but this isn't baseball. Otherwise, your name would be a bit inappropriate." That is true, Leah.
You know what I'm saying? If the law were more baseball-like, there would have actually been the...
I think we understand the premise of the joke, but what's more guerrilla than covering a completely different sport?
Well, indeed. Guerrilla golf.
I think golf is the last sport that would benefit from the guerrilla treatment.
We did the Masters when
Sergio Garcia won.
How did it go?
It was good.
Yeah.
Although I argued with Gary because he kept moaning about the missing greens and missing putts, and I kept having to explain to him that golf's actually really hard.
And that often on TV you only see highlights, so that's why you think they drain 25-foot putts
all the time.
All the time, yes.
And also Augusta's like a fairground ride. You can't really see that on the telly, and he didn't understand.
With slopey glass greens, yes.
Yes, putting in a bath.
Well, try that this evening. I've got everything I need. Got a bath, got a putter, got some golf balls.
Oh, give it a go.
Yeah. Wouldn't they always go in because it slopes towards the plug?
Yeah. True.
That's one for me to try later.
Presumably a golf ball is too big for a plug.
I don't think it is. Well, it wouldn't go down, but you wouldn't want it to. It would just sit in the plug. Yeah, exactly. Well, anyway, Punjab Kings 90 for 4 of 14, and Knuckles on ball by ball, so I should stop.
Yeah, indeed. Kaisa Rabada back into the attack. He's done bowled well today. 2 wickets in the power play. The first time he's ever done that in one IPL power play. 2 for 13. He's outside off stump. And Shah Rukh Khan off his first ball runs it down to third man for a single. Let's jingle up Shah Rukh Khan. No, not that one.
Shah Rukh Khan gonna bowl you cause you feel for you. Yeah, 6'4", built like a fridge. Named after an actor, what you gonna do? Now he skip his pick because he feels for you.
We have a look into getting Shaka Khan on camera.
I was going to say, how much does Shaka Khan go for? It'll be
$400 or $500, yeah.
Full on leg stump. Mayank Agarwal turns it to deep square leg, and they come through 4-2. While all of this carnage has been happening, Mayank Agarwal has been doing very little, really. 39 off 33 balls. He was going well at one point. The new Punjab Kings captain. If you're just joining us, KL Rahul is missing this game, as we see the most comedy of comedy run-outs, with both batters run out at both ends in the same delivery, as Rabada is in. Keeps it a little bit low. Mayank stays leg side and pushes it into the offside. Shimron Hetmeyer is in very quickly, having caused carnage very previously, and is alert in there and smiling. They come through for the single. KL Rahul has been hospitalised. He's had to have emergency appendix surgery, and will definitely miss this game and a few more, and may miss the entire tournament, given that he'll have to leave the bubble and come back in to the bubble, and of course recover from the surgery. Problems for Punjab Kings. He's the captain and their leading run scorer, indeed the leading run scorer in the tournament. This is driven hard by Shah Rukh Khan, but well fielded by Shimron Hetmeyer, who's doing an awful lot of work in the field right now, and parries it to Stephen Smith at mid-off. There is no run. Shikhar Dhawan, I think, in there actually. It's bounced up and hit him on the wrist. Unusual to see that Shikhar Dhawan not on the boundary at this stage of an innings.
Yes, slightly odd, that one.
Rabada short, pulled by Mayank Agarwal, who pulls it well in front of square. Picked that up very early, and certain amount of T20 normality restored as Mayank Agarwal picks Rabada up for 6.
Well, he saved me looking a little bit foolish there, because I was just about to say he's just never looked like threatening to hit the 6. But he got in there first before I said it. I guess a bit of extra pace on the ball from Rabada allowed him to help that over my wide mid-wicket.
Fairly friendly delivery, just the 4th 6 of the innings thus far, only the 10th boundary.
Taking cover on.
Yes, indeed, taken on Shikhar Dhawan's arm, a push into the covers, makes it fairly comfortably in the end. 12 runs off KG Rabada's third over. The Punjab Kings, after 15, 102 for 4, going nowhere slowly.
Now, Chris TB, who's South African, is not playing ball, but because his 11 goes like this: Du Plessis, de Kock, de Villiers, Van der Dusen, Miller, Morris, Jansen, Rabada, Ngidi, Norkia and Tahir.
Very good. Very good. Rassi van der Dusen, who will not be joining the Rajasthan Royals because they haven't given him a no objection certificate.
That's not right. Come on. Warren says maybe a golf ball cam, Andy. Liam says Owen Morgan should drop himself tomorrow over a large sample. His overall IPL record is woeful, both average and strike rate.
It's true, it isn't very good for a player of his class. I don't think he will drop himself. tomorrow, to be honest.
Well, I don't suppose David Warner dropped himself, or was that decision made by someone else?
No, he agreed that it was necessary for them to try and get in an overseas bowler. Although it didn't work out very well today.
Yeah, we broke up by mutual agreement.
Ishant Sharma going to bowl out, none for 22 off his 3 overs. Full toss, poor delivery. Mayank Agarwal puts it away past short fine leg and goes to 50.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
51 off 37 balls, 3 4s and 1 6, which doesn't look like too bad an innings, but it's been a curious one.
Yeah, he's caught up somewhat.
He's a good player, Mayank Agarwal, and he can catch up. He doesn't slow down as much as KL Rahul. Remember a game last year between Punjab and Delhi, I think it was, that went to a super over where he got a very good 99. But Marcus Stoinis managed to force the super over. Good Yorker from Ishant Sharma, dug out by Mayank Agarwal to short third man. They come through for a single, bringing the tall, powerfully built Shah Rukh Khan back onto strike.
Seemed to come out of Ishant's hand a little bit wrong there. It flicked out the top of his fingers.
Yeah, maybe.
Almost a stump high full toss.
He can slightly sort of fall away to leg side, Ishant Sharma, and, as you say, slide it out of the fingers. His control over that has been a lot better in the last few years and has resulted in an outstanding last few years of his Test career.
Well, not so much luck for him today, not for 27. 4 balls to go, although, you could do a lot worse.
No, he bowled well in the power play, did Ishant Sharma. This is about the latest you want him bowling in an innings. 16th over, ball's full outside off stump, driven by Shah Rukh Khan, not really timed, and skews it out to deep point for a single. Might have been a slower ball, yes, from Ishant Sharma, a leg cutter, bringing Mayank back onto strike. Harpreet Brar was superb in Friday's win over the Royal Challengers at Bangalore. Got quick 25 and then took 3 for 19. He's in next, and that 25 came off 17 balls with a couple of big sixes. Chris Jordan, who's scored a 30 off 18 this season, but then Riley Meredith, Ravi Bishnoi, and the comedic starlings of Mohammad Shami can't be relied upon for much. As Ishant Sharma is in, bowling from mid-crease, outside off stump. That's a hit-me ball, and it's been hit by Mayank Agarwal. Bend of the back knee, which he often does, got under the ball, and as Andy was talking about earlier, uses that wrist to get under the ball and power it, this time for a very flat 6 over cover.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air. Legs moving side to side. Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air.
Maximum.
Good shot, but I think we're seeing the limitations of Ishant Sharma later in the innings.
Yeah, Mayank's backlift is quite interesting. He's certainly employing a full wrist cock. He's almost holding his bat almost baseball style with a full wrist cock, just so he can get those wrists all the way through the ball.
He does have a very idiosyncratic setup at the crease, a real bend of that back knee. And again, he's tried to go leg side with this. That would have been an absolutely brilliant catch from the man running back from short third man. I think it's Lalit Yadav. It went off the outside part of the bat and looped and arced over short third man, who had to dive full length. He was 3 feet in the air as he dived full length, and just couldn't lay enough of a hand on it. Would have been an absolute stunner of a catch. Look at the athleticism there, fantastic. Just burst through the hands of
got something on it.
Yadav. Yeah, he did very well to get to it. In the end, could have been an absolutely stunning catch, but I think they've come through for 2. Great effort from Lalit Yadav. And a moral victory for Ishant Sharma, a definite leading edge from Mayank, who's 60 off 40.
Yeah, he's gone to strike rate of 150, which is always good.
Deep point, long off, long on, deep mid-wicket and deep square leg back as Ishant bowls the last ball of his spells outside off stump and drilled by Mayank Agarwal. Will just be a single out to Marcus Stoinis, patrolling the cover boundary moodily. 15 runs off Ishant's last over, none for 37 off his spell. Started well and got worse. Mayank will keep the strike on 61 off 41. Punjab Kings starting to get going a little bit, but is it too late? 117 for 4.
Leia sent in a picture of Fidel Castro and Che Guevara playing golf and says, if golf is revolutionary for Che, it's revolutionary enough for me. An armchair cricket podcast are confused as to why Hoodoo was given out. Well, he was first there.
Yeah, so the way that one worked, just to Mayank Agarwal pushed it to Shimron Hetmeyer at cover. He, I assume, ran. Deepak Huda didn't. They both turned round, ran towards the non-striker's end, where the throw came in. Akshar Patel broke the stumps with Deepak Huda closer to the stumps at that end. He then, just for good measure, threw it to the other end, where I think Mayank Agarwal was closest to the stumps.
Once when I was umpiring, I had a batsman in my team. It was the last over, so there was a run out, and the batsman who wasn't, there was a run out at the keeper's end, and the batsman who hadn't been run out then tried to claim that he was on strike for the next ball. I said, just a minute, mate, if you're on strike for the next ball, then you can go back to the pavilion. He goes, oh, right, yeah.
Akshar Patel bowling at the death. This is sort of slog sweat pulled by Mayank Agarwal, who went, again, very distinct bend to the back knee and flat batted it away past Ajinkya Rahane, who's on the field for someone down there at long leg. 4 more runs to Mayank, who is starting to motor towards the tail end of this innings.
Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Yeah. Give it to me 4 times.
Short and flat again, and that's brilliant placement from Mayank Agarwal. Marcus Stoinis wasn't all that far away from it at deep mid-wicket, but he's got it straight of him. Back-to-back boundaries to start Akshar Patel's over. He'd gone for 10 off his first 3 overs. He's gone for 8 off the first 2 balls of his 4th.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, if you want to bowl this flat at a set opener who's been in for 16 overs, you've got to get it absolutely right, and those two were both just a little bit too leg side.
Held back a little bit. Mayank gets into all sorts of trouble as he tries to prod it into the offside, inside edge onto both feet, has to turn round through 180 degrees to work out where the ball is, and ends up just scurrying back to the safety of his crease. There is no run. Better delivery from Akshar Patel, giving Mayank no pace to work with.
Might be the way to go.
Very round arm this time, sliding on to Akshar. Shimron Hetmeyer, who's done a lot of good fielding today, gets the throw in quickly from cover, but it wasn't a great throw, and they come through easily for the single. Good comeback from Akshar after going for 2 fours.
Well, they're still zoning in on 160. Not sure if that's going to be above par.
Looks a decent pitch, doesn't it?
Looks okay, yeah.
Delhi have a powerful batting lineup. Haven't needed Stephen Smith in the recent times. Sam Billings can't get into the team. Shahrukh Khan comes forward and just clips it down to long on to get Mayank back onto strike for the last ball of Akshar's spell.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's just hit 4 singles, Shahrukh, who's letting Mayank get on with it.
Is indeed. 127 for 4, 1 ball left of the 17th over. 3 men saving 1 behind square on the offside, or rather between short third man and cover point. There's a lot to cover on the leg side, and Akshar bowls into Mayank Agarwal's pads, who sweeps out to deep square leg. Mayank will be on strike, and he's keeping the Punjab Kings, for whom he is now captain, with KL Rahul undergoing emergency surgery, afloat. There were 11 runs off that over, 15 off the last, 12 off the one before that. Punjab Kings 128 for 4, 3 overs left.
I tell you what, you wouldn't, I mean, not having a go at Indian hospitals or anything, but you wouldn't want to go into an Indian hospital at the moment, would you? For an operation like that. I'm assuming emergency operations like here aren't private, you know, you rushed into the hospital.
I would imagine
that these IPL players are rushed into the hospital.
Yeah, but it sounds like it was an emergency.
I would imagine there is a private hospital that they could have got them into.
You think, yeah?
Yeah.
That would be my bet, yes.
Yes. They'll have had some arrangement in Delhi with whichever hospital, or here, Ahmedabad, whichever hospital they were going to take players to.
Right.
Avesh Khan is going to bowl the 18th. He'll bowl the 18th and 20th, and Rabada will bowl the 19th. You'd think it's hard to see them going back to Stoinis at this stage, although he has bowled at some weird times in an innings. Bowled the second over today and hasn't been seen since, apart from when he's been moodily patrolling the outer. Anyway, here is Avesh Khan.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, Avesh Khan. Pull on the stumps, please.
Does bowl on the stump. Good off-stump Yorker, which Mayank drills down to. I say drills down to. Not a very powerful drill. Would barely have got through the first layer of plaster, and it dribbles down to long on for a single.
Well, time for Shahrukh to open his shoulders, I reckon.
Yes, indeed. You need them going need batters going from both ends really at this stage of the innings. Only 7.5 runs and over overall. 10 in the last 5 overs, a bit better.
Really, he's only been out there for 4 balls, and if he gets out, someone else. It's like 3 overs left. Someone else can come in and have a swing. So
Harpreet, Chris Jordan, I think whose hitting potential is overrated, but he has scored 30 off 18 already this season. He does go for it. Shah Rukh Khan goes over the leg side. That'll be a catch for Shimron Hetmeyer. Well taken, actually backpedaling and running to his right from his position at cover. Fair enough. Shah Rukh Khan went for it, skewed off the outside part of the bat. Well taken by Shimron Hetmeyer. A 14th wicket of the season for Avesh Khan. Shah Rukh Khan gone for 4 off 5. The Punjab Kings are 129 for 5.
5, yeah.
How's that? You messed about, I caught you out. How's that?
On YouTube, Cave says, finally, Joss the boss.
He was quite sublime earlier today. Once he hit his straps, there was no way you could bowl at him. He was digging out Yorkers. He was jumping in the air to hit bouncers for 6 over extra cover. He was flicking the ball over his own head for 4. It was absolutely extraordinary watching him. One of the great sights in modern cricket, Jos Buttler, when he's going well.
Doing what we know he can do.
Well, it's a bit of a surprise, the next batsman.
Given Harpreet Brar's heroics last game, a little bit. Chris Jordan is out joining Mayank Agarwal. He will be at the non-striker's end because they crossed while the ball was in the air. Wide Yorker from Avesh, good delivery. Chopped by Mayank down to short third man, single taken. This man is on to strike. Where is he? Where are you hiding, Chris Jordan? There you are.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry, more England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the windy team.
Yeah, as I say, he's had one good innings this season. I think his power hitting is a little bit overrated. Certainly the idea that he would ever bat above Archer for England in T20
just about to say,
nonsense.
Yes, that's crazy.
Driven into the offside, Shimron Hetmeyer fails to field cleanly, and they come through for a single, drilled very hard by Chris Jordan.
Oh, a good over from Avesh. Just 3 runs from 4 balls at the wicket.
Yes, very good. As I say, he's been excellent at all stages of the innings this season.
And a lot of this bowling at the death is just about not giving any freebies, or certainly not bowling any no balls and wides. I think down the leg side did just be helped away.
Good Yorker again. A
Yeah.
little bit of tail into Mayank Agarwal. I wonder if there's a little bit of movement still out there, and it's drilled back to Avesh Khan, who then has Rishabh Pant scrambling with a slightly unwise throw. Rishabh does well behind the stumps, and there is no run. Yeah, he's gone for the Yorker every time and pretty much nailed it.
Yep, and as we know, that's not an easy thing to do.
Jasprit Bumrah get a few wrong yesterday, and Ambati Raidu took full advantage. Some very good batting on display yesterday.
Bumrah's getting wrong just shows that anybody can.
Avesh in, goes for the Yorker and nails it again. Mayank Agarwal just drops bat on ball and nudges it out for a single. A very good over from Avesh Khan. 4 runs and the wicket in it. Mayank is on strike though, 74 off 50. He is 132 for 5 with 2 overs left.
Delhi pulling them back closer to 150 now, particularly after that over from Avesh, which was very good, and I expect we'll see him bowl the last one as well, with Rabada coming up next.
Chris TB asks if we've mentioned the result of the Yorkshire Northants game.
We have, actually, yeah.
We did.
What happened?
Well, it started raining with Yorkshire needing 1 wicket to win, and Northants very close. They got back on, and Yorkshire won by 1 run.
Ooh. So no super over required. Super day.
A super over at the end of a first-class game would be a little bit anticlimactic.
I'd be all for it.
Kahisa Rabada is in. He's bowling cross seam, but he's gone length really. Tried to go for the Yorker and didn't nail it, and Mayank Agarwal has swung this down the ground over the sight screen for 6. talking about the fine margins of getting a Yorker wrong.
And it ended up in just about where Mayank would have wanted it, and that went very high. I thought it was in trouble for a moment, but it also went very far, 89 metres.
Yeah, indeed. As you say, he does get under the ball, Mayank Agarwal, that bend of the back knee, that wrist cock. Good from Rabada, goes for the Yorker again, holding his nerve, dug out from off stump into the offside, single taken, Jordan on strike. Mayank Agarwal, I think, has broken his bat.
Yeah, they'd much rather bowl at Jordan at this point. 10 balls to go, 139. Maybe edging a bit closer to 155. At this point, they may have cause to rue that middle over slow down with Agarwal, who has subsequently caught up, and Dawid Malan.
In comes Rabada to Chris Jordan. It's a full toss. I think you're probably better off missing the Yorker long. Certainly it's been the tone of the last 2 IPLs. Jordan wasn't quite expecting it and flails it out into the onside for a single. We saw Kaisa Rabada splatter Chris Gale's stumps with a sort of thigh-high full toss, well, shin-high full toss.
Very inelegant shot from Gale.
Yes, for
flamingoing, but not hitting the ball.
Yes, for one of the all-time great T20 batters. When he doesn't get his fluency and timing right, he does look a bit awkward. Short, slower ball from Kaisa Rabada. Mayank has to wait an age for it, loses any power or timing in the stroke, and sort of top spin back forward cross court, top spin forehand cross courts it to Stephen Smith at deep mid wicket for a single.
Well, people say Chris Gale doesn't move his feet. He moved his foot on that one.
Indeed.
This looks a bit stiff these days, I think.
Well, aren't we all?
Yeah. I'm not playing in the IPL though.
In comes Rabada. It's another full toss, another low full toss that he, I say, gets away with. He's slightly overcorrecting going full, and I think he's better off doing that. Mayank swings at it, but it comes off the bottom part of the bat, single down to long on.
Yeah, even though Mayank has found his range a little bit, it's going to be hard to see either of these batsmen hitting those low full tosses for 6.
No, neither of them particularly go deep in the crease or are willing to pick the ball up over short, fine leg, say. Last ball of Rabada's spell. 2 wickets in the power play today, unusually. Short ball too quick for Chris Jordan. That's gone very high in the air, and it might be caught. It is caught. Simple catch for Lalit Yadav. Kaisa Rabada has his 3rd wicket of the day. That was just too quick and too good for Chris Jordan. It went a very long way up, actually, and a long way deep. Lalit took it, 10 yards in off the boundary's edge, even though he barely got any bat on it at all. He's gone for 2. Punjab 143 for 6, going into the 19th. Good change up. Wasn't ready for the shorter ball.
No harm, no foul really for Chris Jordan, particularly off the last ball of the 19th over. If you're batting with someone who's set, it's generally a free hit.
3 for 36 off his 3, Kaisa Rabada, which is a pretty decent day at the office.
That's fine. You know, we were saying last week there's a huge difference between 2 wickets in the power play and, say, if he'd taken 2 wickets in that over. Wouldn't really have counted for so much.
No, I mean, which is, he was the leading wicket taker last season and he's a world-class bowler, but some of those death overs wickets last year were a little bit cheap.
Yeah.
He only took 2 wickets of those that were in the power play, and it took him until the last game of the regular season to do it, to take a power play wicket at all. Ben Jones at Cricketers has written quite an interesting article about why Rabada might struggle in the power play. Obviously a world-class bowler, but everyone can improve. Avesh bowled superbly again today, 1 for 17 off his 3, starting the last over to Harpreet Brar, who drills this down the ground through the hands, I think, of Avesh Khan. Would have been a fantastic caught and bowled, and he looks to see that all of his fingers are attached. Harpreet off the mark with 4 down the ground.
Young kid at PL, the chance to excel. You can't stop Harpreet Brar. He'll never give the game away.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Yeah, that one went the journey. Harpreet round the wicket, and they scramble a bye as Harpreet misses a slower ball outside off stump. In fact, it's going to be a wide signal because it was just outside the tram line.
Wide.
149 for 6, Mayank on strike. 5 balls left of the innings.
It is part of your wicket-keeper's skill to be able to throw the stumps down, and you get the impression Rishabh Pant isn't particularly good at it compared to, say, MS Dhoni.
No, he isn't. To be honest, I think Mayank was in anyway, but still.
But, you know, if you have the confidence that the wicket-keeper's not going to hit very often, that's why you set off the run.
As in comes Avesh over the wickets to Mayank Agarwal. Almost nails the Yorker. Mayank did try and go deep in the crease, but couldn't get enough elevation into the stroke, and it just scuds down to Stephen Smith at mid-off on the boundary, long off, single taken. 150 for 6.
That first ball Harpreet hit for 4 was a good example of what you were saying of the long Yorker being better than the short one. He would have had a job hitting a low full toss up there, but he just was able to get underneath that one and drill it through the hands of Avesh Khan.
Harpreet, the left-hander, faces
Wide
up to
again.
another wide. They don't try and run this time. But you see Rishabh Pant is taking his glove off, ready to throw down the stumps. He's ready for that. That would have hurt, thudding into an ungloved hand.
I can actually tell you the difference there. The difference there is that Avesh wide was bowling from the same side as the ball ended up. So when he's bowling across the batsman and bowling a wide, the keeper has to cover much more ground and he's going in the wrong direction.
That's a fair point. Anil Dandekar, the umpire at this end. Avesh in, gets this one inside the pretty much straight onto the almost butt cheek of Harpreet Brar, who's threw the stroke too early, a slower ball into the pitch through the pull shot, and they take an arse by. 152 for 6, 3 balls left of the innings.
Yeah, our Armchair Cricket Podcast was waxing lyrical about Hetmeyer's arse earlier.
Okay, well, you know, that's fine.
Yes, he is,
as you do.
You write a poem.
He is well appointed in the rear trouser department.
The lower furnishings.
Yes, it's not quite Lungi Ngidi's level of pert curve.
Exactly what he said.
Avesh in, another Yorker that ends up as a full toss, but Mayank has nailed this one. There was a gap between deep mid-wicket and long on, and Avesh gave him just enough room to find it. 4 runs for Mayank Agarwal, moves to 89 off 56. 156 for 6, 2 balls left. It's pretty much kept his team alive.
Pretty much, and it's funny how often, with all the twists and turns, teams kind of end up with what you were more or less expecting 8 overs out anyway. 155, 160.
Yes, it does look under par, I have to say. As Avesh is in, that is the perils of missing the Yorker short, because that ended up as a half volley. Mayank Agarwal hammers it down the ground for 6. Good shot.
Ooh, could get 100. 5 off the last ball.
Yes, indeed, we could be on for 200s in a day. We only had 2 before the start of today, with Devdutt Padikkal and Sanju Samson. Joss Buttler smashed a brilliant innings earlier today for the Rajasthan Royals as they thumped the Sunrisers Hyderabad by 55 runs. 124 off 64 balls for Joss Buttler, highest score of the season by anybody thus far. But Mayank Agarwal is on for 100 potentially. Hits this for 6, he's got it. Last ball of the innings, Avesh in. Mayank on 95. He's drilled it down the ground. Hit 4. He's hit that incredibly hard. Anil Dandekar did well to recognise what was coming and dive and hot step out of the way. Again, bended back knee, such power in the stroke. No need for a follow through. Check drive. Mayank ends on 99 not out of 58 balls. They've taken plenty off that last over from Avesh Khan and slightly ruined his figures. 1 for 39 he ends up with, which I don't really think reflects how well he bowled. What was that? 24 off the
I would say more than slightly ruined, completely ruined. But that is the downside of bowling those Yorkers, and he didn't really have a change-up. That's the thing with Avesh Khan. He hasn't really developed a change-up, slower ball into the wicket or back of the hand or anything too convincing like that. And the batsmen were rather lining up those full balls. And one thing they did very well was they hit very straight. and hard, not allowing long on, long off to come and intercept.
Yeah, indeed. I think it was 25 off the last over, and Delhi Capitals will need 167 to win. Let's just jingle up that last 4 in appropriate fashion.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Mayank Agarwal with 99 not out off 56 balls. The only significant contribution for the Punjab Kings. Darwin Milan was the next top scorer, but with 26 off 26 did more harm than good, really. Chris Gale hit a couple of meaty deliveries, but was bowled by a full toss by Kahisa Rabada for 13 off 9. From Simran Singh, never really looked fluent and was caught well at extra cover by Smith off Rabada for 12, and no one else got past 5.
Well, the market's liking Delhi at the moment, suggesting they will win this 2 times out of 3, partly because even 166 we think is an under-par score, and partly because Delhi are a very strong batting unit.
Yeah, indeed, bowling figures. Kahisa Rabada, 3 for 36 off his 4 overs, 2 in the power play and then 1 at the death. Ishant Sharma ended up a little bit expensive, 4 overs, 1 for 37. Marcus Stoinis bowled 1 tiny over at the start of the innings, 4-6. Avesh Khan had his figures ruined in that last over, but actually bowled very well, 4 overs, 1 for 39. Lalit Yadav tidy, 3 overs, 1 for 25. And Akshar Patel, even though he went for a double run over, brilliant, 4 overs, 1 for 21 off his 4 overs. There were 5 extras, 2 leg byes, and 2 of them leg byes, 3 of them wide, so a pretty disciplined bowling performance from Delhi. And as Andy said, they, I think, are favourites at halfway. Nesta's what
I
we
would
got.
say so, yes, sorry.
Yeah, Nesta's what we got before we go back to our interview with Becky Fairley-Clark.
Well, I think it's really just about people's bums. So let's let's leave that until
the bottom end
later
of
on.
that innings. Yeah.
Yes, so for the innings break, we'll have the remainder, or some of the remainder of that interview between Tony Bishop and Becky Fairley-Clark, CEO of the Cricket Supporters Association, talking about their current survey. See you in about 12 minutes.
Dermot, that's certainly something with our 2021 survey will be a big kind of focus in terms of understanding what people want to see in terms of the schedule and how they feel about what's proposed, etc. And then what I think an interesting fact, though, that looking back on it, was in 2017 there was quite a big distrust between the kind of the Sky money in the game and whether it was needed and all that, but that has massively changed to kind of in 2020. There was I can't remember the exact stat now, but it was a huge group of fans were very pleased with the Sky and saw the importance of the Sky revenue, broadcast revenue, and the impact that it has all through down to the grassroots of the game. And I thought that was quite interesting that kind of has changed, because I think there was naively a consideration amongst some of the stakeholders that fans just didn't understand cricket. They just have a passion and they don't really understand the commercial side and all that. But actually, we do understand, we do get the bigger picture with it, and so don't dismiss it, say, oh, well, fans don't really know. I think we do and we understand, so but that was really interesting, as I say, that's changed. But also, looking at ticket prices and how much people are prepared to pay for Test cricket tickets or domestic cricket tickets and stuff. So
you were kind enough to share some of those with me. And one of the things I picked up on was that our survey respondents are very realistic. So the expectation of what it's reasonable to pay has kind of risen with inflation, as it were, and perhaps a little bit beyond. So you've mentioned a few things there which I think are interesting. You've talked about free-to-air and how that has been a growing clamour within the survey. And clearly that's happened. We're not saying that's direct cause and effect, but it's clearly part of a voice that has pushed things in that direction. You've talked about value for money and pricing and ensuring that the requirements and expectations there are clearly presented forward as cricket supporters to the ECB. What about the people who have responded to the survey? How has the profile changed over those 4 years?
It has changed, but it needs to continue to change as well. So we've kind of had a rise in female respondents, but we're still looking for kind of more, because I know, being a female cricket fan, that there are a lot of us out there, and so, you know, we need to do work there and to make sure we get as far and wide there as we possibly can within the kind of Black and Asian, Middle Eastern communities. That again has also grown, but we want to grow that considerably more as well. And obviously we have launched our Every Cricket Fan, our diversity and inclusion initiative, and so I'm hoping that some of the work we're already doing with that will kind of filter through and help as well. Age group wise, that's been, you know, a real success for us, because with our last survey, the age 16 to 24, we got a much bigger representation of that age group as well. And obviously we still want, you know, the white and the male and the older age groups absolutely to take part, but I think for it to be as, you know, as independent and as comprehensive as possible, we do need to have a fair spread of cricket fans. So we really are asking everyone kind of get involved, take the survey. We always have some sort of incentives as well, so there will be, you know, you can win cricket tickets or cricket helmets or something. We always have, you know, something as well, so there is an incentive to do it, as well as just, you know, feeling good about having the chance to voice your opinion.
So you've seen big growth in numbers, but the louder the voice, the even more effective it becomes. You've seen the change in the spread in terms of inclusivity. In fact, when I looked at the numbers, going from the very first survey to the last one, you know, whilst the percentage of female responders needs to go up, it's grown about 5 or 6 times, but it needs to grow quicker. There's no doubt about that. The age profile I thought was very interesting, because that gets you into other expectations, and when people are talking about things like what they expect out of a new tournament, perhaps a little more open-mindedness comes along with the younger age, you know, opening up to the younger age group, which I sort of found interesting. Also what they expect from their online consumption of the sport, which has been pushed for very much, for greater ways, greater avenues for interaction with their counties, greater ways to view the game beyond just watching the telly, although that clearly is very important, hence the focus on free-to-air. And the other thing that I noticed, which I thought was quite interesting and I wanted to ask you about, was how the geographical spread has broadened. I looked at that first one, I thought, well, I'm definitely in there because I'm a Middlesex fan, and if I'm a Surrey fan, I'm also in there. Let's just say kindly, there was a north-south divide, with the south heavily favoured. That has really shifted across the four to be truly a much broader spread. Has that just happened sort of organically, or have you pushed very hard to make that happen?
Pushed quite hard to make that happen. We do have various partners that help kind of push out the survey as well. So the Barmy Army always push out the survey for us, and some of the counties and different things. And obviously we work with a lot of media partners, so even if they're just tweeting it and stuff like that, they get it out. So I think there's a certain amount of organic, but we were very conscious of, you know, the fact that we aren't a southeastern, you know, fan group, in the same way that we're not a 50 plus fan group, or like we are trying to represent absolutely everybody. So we've tried really hard to kind of make sure that comes across, and to work with different people so that everybody at least sees the survey, you know, even if they don't have the time or the inclination to actually take it, to make sure that as many people as possible see it. So it's really important to us that we get, you know, the fans from all over to take it.
If this was a school report, we'd be saying it's moving in exactly the right direction, but needs to do more. And exactly. which sounds like any of my school reports ever, but it's definitely encouraging that you have that breadth and that scale and that diversity. Breadth, scale, and diversity are all key, and in fact, very much in line with your values, I think, as the Cricket Supporters Association. So we've seen some themes. Yeah. We've seen things like real focus on wanting free to air. We've seen a focus on value for money. We've seen a focus on how people consume their cricket online, and a number of other things where clearly the voice is heard and it gets to the right people. So we now, though, have a new survey about to launch, but you want to hear from people, don't you, before you launch that?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the themes you're thinking about, because I think you want people to tell you if you've got the right ones, and if you think you've missed anything, they've got the chance to tell you what you've missed, right? So give us some ideas of that.
So yeah, exactly. So thank you. So obviously we spent a lot of time kind of working through what we think should be included in the survey, but also very conscious that the Cricket Sports Association only exists as a fan organisation to represent fans. So it seems that we, wrong to say this is the survey, you take it. So we're kind of taking it one step before that and saying this is what we're planning to have in the survey. So it's everything from kind of fan intention. So obviously, as we're in the pandemic, as we're coming out of the pandemic, what will that do in terms of kind of people's engagement with cricket? Their, how much they're planning to go to live games, what concerns or what's different from now from before, and kind of stuff like that. We're also looking at county membership, so whether you are a county member and you're going to continue, or you were, and trying to look at that. Obviously free to air and TV rights, but then also taking that one step further and trying to understand how many different kind of channels people would be prepared to pay for if you are in a position to be able to pay for stuff. And because I know there's a lot of chat about free to air or different TV rights is great, good for the game, but then it also means as a fan you might have to get more and more kind of channels, subscription channels. Ticket prices very much a focus as always, and just to see what the flavour is and what people are thinking. Scheduling, as I say, I think obviously this summer is looking quite tight, and and especially now with when fans might be allowed back in the grounds and how that might work, and so looking at all of that, obviously talking about and just getting people's experiences of that, or what their anticipation about that. And it's County Championship 2022, so what people would like to see with that, because obviously that's still up in the air. And again with that, I've spoken to the ECB, and we're working out a way that what our fans say in this survey will work towards or be part of the kind of discussion as they're planning 2022, and just kind of the role of the fan.
What a tremendous interview that is. And Jules, I know it's a cause that's very dear to your heart, about making sure that there is representation, that there are people who have their say.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think, we might need to come back to this in a second just while we queue up everything with this match, but I think there's so much input that not just the fans, but actually people right across involved the game of county cricket can actually input in its ongoing development. But shall we do that first, and we'll come back to that point, because I've got a few things to say.
I think there's going to be a little bit of jingling going on from Knuckle, I think.
This young chap here's gone pretty sure. When he steps up, the crowd want more. He made 500 when he was 14, no pressure there. I hope he's not peaked too early.
Fresh young kid, Tasmanian devil, athletic and quick, in one day he'll revel. When you bat, you've got to keep an eye on the line of Riley.
Well, that line was on leg stump with his first ball, but it was quick enough and bounced high enough that Prithvi Shaw could only really receive it on the body and scamper through for a leg bye. Riley Meredith, the bowler,
taking that one on the hip, hasn't he?
Even a little bit higher, almost in the side of the rib cage. Not the biggest man, Prithvi Shaw. In fact, he's got an inside edge on that, and he'll pick up his first run. So 167 Delhi require to chase this, to go back to the top of the table. They'll be a win clear, having played an extra game, if they can win this one. And Punjab Kings trying to get back to 4 wins and 4 losses. It's an edge from Dhawan. It's gone straight past the wicketkeeper and Chris Gale. They both seemed a little bit slow. Gale suggesting he's got a finger on it, but that's not going to be enough, and it's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gale seems quite deep, so I'm not entirely convinced that would have carried to Gale, but maybe an expectation that he might have been able to have stopped it. But Meredith squared Darwin up, beating them all ends up, hasn't it?
You're right. It was the keeper was too wide of the keeper, and Gale is in a very wide, very deep slip position.
It's almost as if he's there to prevent the run rather than the idea that he's there to take a catch, if that makes any sense.
Well, I've got to put Gale somewhere. That one's onto the leg side. It should be a wide if he didn't flick the pad. It is indeed. Diving save by wicketkeeper. Wide.
Well, of course, they're missing their first choice wicketkeeper today.
Just going to say, who is actually keeping wicket? Is it Singh?
I think it might be. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Riley, a little bit of shape on that one, but unfortunately it was shape in the wrong direction. Down past the legs of Shikhar Dhawan. Six for no wicket. Chasing 167 to win. Meredith's in again. Dhawan jabs that one past point. Down to third man. Should be a comfortable single.
They're going to be. They're very much packing that offside field behind square, aren't they, for Shikhar Dhawan?
Yes, it's a fairly clear line of attack. With Meredith bowling across the left-hander. Now, this is something new to me. On Tuesday, we're starting our series of cricket book serialisations on the website. First up, 3 excerpts from the explosive pen of the secret cricketer. Now, what's that going to be? And like an audio book or a reenactment? Meredith comes in again, onto the legs of Shaw, clipped down to long leg, and it's just a single. Also, the secret cricketer, that's a new one on me. Anyone heard of that?
Well, I've heard of the secret barrister and the secret footballer.
The secret footballer was first, and the secret barrister is on Twitter. The secret cricketer is a new one, yeah.
Well, apparently there are prizes to be won, Andy.
Prizes to be won from 10 a.m. Tuesday, so...
That's right.
Boring. Written excerpts on the news section of the website. So perhaps this is quite a new thing.
Yeah.
And we're. I would have liked to see some guerrilla cricket, playing the roles and acting it out, like one of those audiobooks that actually has actors. I quite like it.
That's a movie, Andy.
No, it's not, because it's an audiobook. Well, it's a radio play, if you like. That one is tipped into the leg side.
A radio play with actors is a television. is a television program?
There's no pictures now. Is that the bit you're not getting? The Green Room also gives us a thumbs up for full cast.
Yeah, I am a full subscriber to audio. I'm being deliberately facetious. Andy,
is there any other kind of facetious?
Well, deliberately, yes. Andy, are you watching Line of Duty?
No, I don't watch any TV. I don't have a licence. Fuck you, BBC. Meredith comes in. That was bounced over the head of Shaw, who ducks underneath it, and there's no run. I ain't paying their protection money anymore.
Well, fight the power and all that. Jules, are you watching Line of Duty?
I have to say, unless it's sport, I don't watch that much TV. My licence fee goes on 6 Music, which is the greatest music radio station you can get in the UK.
I was going to ask you if you thought you know who H was, but I'm not gonna. I will stop that and allow Jules to.
What station is Line of Duty on?
It's on BBC One, sir.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then. Mohammed Shami is going to bowl. Having a little chat with Chris Jordan.
He's coming down fast and moving it too. Tell me the answer. He may be a bowler, but he's often injured. Look out, Mohammed Shami.
Got quite a few Beatles tunes on today, as is often the case, as Darwin again gets over the bottom edge of that one down to third man, Riley Meredith, and there's one run.
Andy, if we were going to have full guerrilla cricket serialisations in an audiobook format,
yes, yep.
Who would you be cast as?
Who would I be cast as?
Which voice would you like to lend yourself to as a voice inside the cricketing world? And Jules, the same question goes to you in between throwing your head back with
I could
massive
do a bit
bits
of
of
Tuffers, I suppose.
Jules, what about you?
That's a bloody great question.
Yeah,
I don't know actually.
Shami is in, and Darwin punches it into the offside cover field. Was very close. There's no run.
No, gonna come back.
Maybe I could do a bit of Giles Clark. I could be the baddie.
we would be able to know that you were a baddie because we could all go boo, behind you as every time you spoke. Boo.
Well, upper class English accent is de facto the baddie in
it's
most
worked
films.
for Hollywood
It's practically racist.
Can we have a jolly theme tune? Another jolly theme tune apart from the juicy one that we've got.
Get our jinglers on that. And there's a shot from Prithvi Shaw. It has gone flying over everything. It's gone for 6 over about second slip. Yes, in the position where apparently you can't set a fielder, which you can, but even if you had, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yes.
Just had a huge swing at that Shaw. Too early on it, but another kind of toe end just sent it rocketing into the sky and away for 6.
No justice sometimes.
No justice a lot of the time. As I'm sure Mohammed Shami will tell you.
Al, you've gone and done it. The guerrilla cricket timeline is now going to be filled up with people talking about bloody Line of Duty.
Yes. Line of Duty and who in the cricketing world, who in the cricketing firmament can we voice out? Can we provide the voices for?
Shami is going to come in again. 16 for naught, quick start for Delhi. And that's a little bit airy from Shaw as it goes past point and a misfield down at third man by the long-legged... no, it's Dawid Malan, in fact, who's also long-legged. Not a great piece of fielding from him. He rather clotheslined down and the ball bounced off his knee and went for 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's not been quite a convincing fielder, isn't he, Dawid Malan?
I'm a bit surprised to see him down in third man, but after that bit of fielding, perhaps that's why.
Damning assessment there.
It's come off his foot, actually.
Come off his foot?
Yeah.
Can you imagine being the captain and turning around and going, I've got to hide Gale, now I've got to deal with this?
Yes, I can imagine that. I've had to do it many times. Shami is in again. I captain him over 50s team. And that one is flashed past cover point by Shaw, who is pretty much unstoppable at the moment. That's 4 more.
Super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, rocka, rocka, super shatter.
Well, I had a feeling that this total was a little bit under par, but it's a great start so far.
It is Shaw has hit both of those last 2 shots with just enough air to keep the close fielders interested, but again he's hit them hard enough and wide enough of the fielder, and that is the thing. If you get it close to that close fielder, there's a good chance it's going to beat the sweeper. 6-4-4 for the last 3 balls, some more convincing than others. That's a defensive shot down to that close cover fielder who picks it up. There's no run. With Line of Duty though, it's not a new thing, is it? It's the 6th or 7th series.
This is the 6th series, but
has it just got good, or why is everyone suddenly
it's
talking about it now?
It's been good all along, and there have been arcs that have been within a series, but there's also been this overarching arc right the way through all of the series. It's quite the entertaining drama.
Okay.
I just feel sorry for you because right now you're speaking to probably the only 2 people in the whole of the UK who don't watch the programme, and we don't watch much TV.
This is fine. This is all okay. It's not
this is all fine. Old Knuckles says either Meredith is in rather jerkily, or it's not his fault. It's the pictures we're getting. He was a bit stop-start there, but Dowan poked it into the offside for no run. It was perhaps not the smoothest anyway, Riley Meredith. Got some pace though, bowling in the 140s.
He's
And again, bowling quite a consistent length, which can be a plus, can be a minus, and the batsman can line him up. Delhi 24 for no wicket compared to Punjab's 7 for no wicket at the same stage, so 17 runs is a good head start at this stage. Meredith's in again to Dhawan. It's on the legs. It's in fact hit him on the pad and he'll come through for what looks like a leg bye. And I think it is 25 for no wicket. As silence reigns as everyone thinks about whatever we're all thinking about. Can anyone help us out on Twitter?
Well, I was thinking about what we were going to have for tea.
Yeah, I was actually.
I was trying to think about which women's cricketer I'll do, but I think I'll end up getting typecast and be like, we need a women's cricketer, quick.
No.
We want to represent, we'll just put a woman in. Any woman. Hey, let's do it.
Oh, it works for a lot
You
of
make me
TV.
sound like a Hollywood producer, Jules. Any woman, some woman.
Just chuck a woman in. Need representation.
Driven up to mid-on. There's no run. An ethical Hollywood producer, I hope.
Well, true. And it's we've got more choice than your standard gorilla, than your gorilla other cricket commentary and podcasts to be able to put more than one woman in a scene together. It'd be amazing.
Brian Lara's got quite a high voice. You could manage that. Well, thanks from the green room, Knuckle.
Yeah. The views expressed by
Brian Lara would too chuffed with that, to be fair.
The views expressed by Gorilla Cricket.
Well, he's been sledged worse than that in his time.
You've got quite a high voice.
Oh, a bit ugly there. Shaw steps away and Meredith followed him. And Shaw has a bit of a rueful smile as he comes down the wicket. That one trickled up to long on Chris Jordan for one. And it's 26 for no wicket.
All right, if we don't know who's going to play us, have you got an idea about who else in the gorilla family we might want to put in place?
Well, we really need to know.
We need to know some of these. Who do these
exit? You give us some characters to play. Yeah.
We need some work on this. This might not be one to resolve in a T20.
On the fly, yes. Meredith comes in. It's a slower ball again. It's full. It's jabbed up to mid-off by Dhawan for a single.
Yeah, the World Test Championship.
My eyes are going.
The World Test Championship final is the place for this sort of conversation.
Or indeed any Test match.
Yeah. It does make me wonder with everything that's going on with regards to India and travel restrictions and the various bits and pieces about exactly how much of that is actually going to have to be
delayed,
rethought about.
That's a very good point, actually.
Because
there's no real reason why you can't delay something like that. I think it's it's not like it's not like a World Cup where everything happens at a specific time at a specific place.
True.
Meredith comes in to finish the over, and it again rushes Shaw a little bit, hits him midships. Just 3 for the over. Meredith kicks the ball back to the wicketkeeper. Shaw is down for the count and may need a bit of magic spray. That's the end of the over. With a magic sponge they used to have in rugby league.
And all other sports as well. Whatever that magic sponge does, they need it in every hospital apparently if it does that. But as you said earlier, don't take medical advice from a cricket show.
Well, indeed. But physio, you get the impression physio used to be a much easier game. In games like football and rugby, just run on, squeeze a sponge on it and tell the player to run it off.
They're there.
The football, I mean, they go down like anything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, football hasn't got a lot going for it at the moment, but I think Prithvi Shaw is either going for the Oscar or is really hurt by that one.
I think he actually might be crying, so... Let's go with that.
little.
Let's go with some socials, shall we? So Warren said when we saw that, when we saw Gale sort of diving to the ground, the universe boss diving just caused the Big Bang. So Messi Jez did come in. Oh, Messi, it's been a while. Line of Duty said, yes, I started watching after last night's IPL and couldn't stop watching all the episodes so far in the series. It's taken a strong approach and ended up going to bed at 8:15 in the morning.
Oh.
And he says he reckons H is actually a syndicate.
Oh, so there's no H as a person. Ah, okay.
Well, sorry for the spoiler if that turns out to be the case.
Hey, well, if that turns out to be the case, then you've seen something that nobody else has saw.
Advanced viewing over in Perth.
Yeah, it's a bit much sometimes when they expect you to get some twist. I think the most egregious one I saw recently was Westworld, which was kind of good, and especially in the first series there was some good philosophical issues being examined and some good performances, but the twist was just so ridiculous. You were expected to work out that it was that subsequent scenes were in fact 30 years apart. And the characters looked the same because they were robots in there.
Andy, have you always taken a dim view of television? Because I was going to make a pop culture reference from the sort of 70s and 80s.
70s and 80s, I'm probably fine. Yeah.
Right. If we're going to talk about ridiculous twists, are you aware with the ITV game show 3-2-1?
Oh, of course. Right. Classic stuff.
Yeah. See, already I'm skewing old for Jules. This is Jules is like.
3-2-1.
Some of those clues about what they meant
amazing.
was just ridiculous, weren't they?
Amazing.
Twists that
if anyone's not familiar, I'm sure you can find them on YouTube. It was all a fairly standard game show. Anyway, Shabby's going to come in. Short ball punched away by Dhawan, and he's timed that beautifully. It's flown past point on the bounce and to the backward point boundary for 4. Well, actually, as Al brought it up, I'll let Tim explain, because it's quite difficult to explain.
So it was a show where there would be vignettes and clues that would be given and rhymes that were meant to associate with various prizes, and the booby prize, as it were, was a bin, dusty bin.
Dusty bin, yeah.
And some of the finagling.
That one's pushed into the offside by Dhawan, and there's no run. And this is a misfield, but there's still no run.
Some of the finagling in order to be able to associate what the clues were with what the prize was linked to it was were some Hitchcockian twists.
It would have stumped the most expert cryptic crossword solver.
Yeah, and well worth. If you at any point, Jules, you can't sleep. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning and you're struggling. Go on a 3-2-1 deep dive on YouTube. I guarantee you won't be disappointed.
I think I could give that advice to anyone. Shami is round the wicket, and it's a bit too quick for Dhawan. Flashes past the outside edge, suits the keeper, there's no run.
So going back to the sort of age discussion we were having earlier, Al, were you actually being serious with Ibiza?
Oh God! I mean, no. I never went when I was young. I'm not going to go now.
Right. Okay. I was about to give you some recommendations.
No.
Swiftly on.
It's something that happens to other people.
Fair enough. Is he down again?
No, it's just a replay of the.
It's actually a replay of him being down, which was quite something. That was onto the pads from Shabby round the wickets. Then comes through for a leg by.
They did show where the ball struck him, and it
was right in the unmentionables.
It would be referred to as in the upper thigh area.
Yeah.
Jingling balls, tingling balls, been hit in the groin. No one showing sympathy for my tenderloin.
And there you go.
Hey, I'm just trying to figure out why that's a woman doing that jingle.
It really threw me. I was like, who the hell's doing that? Okay.
32 for no wicket Delhi in the 4th over. Had a good start in this chase of 166.
Oh, it was Anna Forsyth. She's got an end named after her. The Anna Forsyth end. We commentated about that. No end in the.
Where's that? punched
India
into the covers, and they get through for a quick singles. Chris Jordan unusually misfields a little bit. 33 for no wicket.
So we do have, we've got a napogram by Guerrilla Cricket of his team of the tournament. So in the first innings, we asked, what is your team of the tournament so far? Ravi Nair posed a question.
Oh, is that what the question was?
Yes. So we have, I say Guerrilla Cricket, this is from Knuckle, so other gorillas may disagree with this. I'll go for it.
Shani's going to come in, driven by Dhawan, beautifully laced that one through the covers for 4.
With the super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, super shatter, rocka, super shatter.
So we have Prithvi Shaw, Padakal, Ali, Raidu, AB de Villiers, Pollard, Jadeja, Rashid Khan, Harshal Patel, Avesh Khan, and Jasprit Bumrah.
Yep, decent looking team.
Is AB going to do the wicket keeping and the captaincy?
Oh, sorry, yeah, he's down as a captain, but that we need an update from that.
Just a clarification.
I'm sure it is. I mean, it certainly looks like it's not one of these teams that has 5 openers. You sometimes see the commentators put out, or someone who always bats 3, batting 6, and this kind of thing.
Pollard captain, AB keeping.
Oh, interesting, because Pollard is actually a stand-in captain for Rohit Sharma, but I think he is quite an effective captain, Pollard. And he's done some more innovative things that I approve of. I was asking on Twitter the other day, if we did that game that ended up in a super over, and I was saying, why don't you put someone really close to the bat when you need 2 off 2 or something? And apparently Pollard has done that as captain. It's Bishnoi going to come in and swung away. First ball by Prithvi Shaw. It's high, it's over mid-off, over long off, over the boundary for 6.
I believe in miracles. Since you came to bat, you 60 thing, you 60 thing, you. I believe in miracles. Since you came out to bat.
There once was a boy whose name was Ravi Bishnoi, and he had so many skills that he wanted people to enjoy.
Well, not a paradise so far for Ravi Bishnoi, but he's only bowled 1 ball.
I love the shot of Anil Kumble. I think he's trying to make himself look taller and bigger by surrounding himself by people who are very, very small. He looked like a Bond villain. It was just like. Look at him. It's huge. Although it is a flower next to him.
Probably suggesting that he would have bowled that one a bit flatter than Bishnoi. Sure, this one's chopped into the ground and there won't be a run. There's no stopping Prithvi Shaw at the moment. I think he hit 6 4s in an over in the last game. On his way to 80 not out.
It was very late on that one, it seemed.
Yes, he didn't quite get that one right. He may have turned the other way to what he was expecting. Bishnoi with a lot of motion in that run-up. Gale is at short third man and does get down to field, although he throws it rather like I do. Did they get
do you think he was throwing that with his wrong hand? He was throwing that with his... No, he's throwing that with his right hand,
but a lot of people bat left-handed even though they are right-handed.
That didn't seem the throw of someone who was naturally left-handed.
It seemed the throw of a universe boss, no.
I think we need to speak about this run-up, to be honest. This Bishnoi's run-up, he kind of goes off to the left and then a little bit step to the right.
He
in the need time.
So the words right out of my mouth there, Jules.
He does go out and in again.
Much you can say to that either.
But see what he does to the left-hander. He's still over this, much the same over the wickets, and it's too short and Dhawan pulls it away. He's going to find the gap. No, a little bit of a misfield, but they're still just through for 1. And it's a bold move to put Bishnoi on in the power play, only 2 fields out.
It does make you wonder about, it's like, what's made you, what in your...
How does that run-up help you?
Yeah, what in the formative stages of your cricketing environment made you run round something that was your
boulder in the way or something?
Yeah, in the back garden. That one's pushed out towards square leg, and there's only going to be one run. I remember seeing on talking about terrible TV nationwide or some,
Oh, you are watching do you want to watch the
programs.
One Show? That's the latest version.
It's the new version of Nationwide, isn't it? And there was this guy who, as Bishnoi comes in, it's too short and it's just too bad a ball for Dhawan to hit without actually being wide. He could only toe it into the ground. And it was this guy who, when he bowled, would duck under the washing line and jump over the paving stone and all of this, and seemed more like an affectation to me.
Wow.
Just make you wonder. It's just it's like when you take all of that stuff away, it's like, oh no, it's the only way I know how to bowl. It's like,
I won't say it, but I guess that's how you get on Nationwide, or indeed the One Show.
Quickly on, we have more line of duty updates. Thanks again, Al. Jose Oka said they've been very coy if there will be a 7 series, and we may not find out who H is tonight. And Messi Jez said apparently the word is that they will expose H tonight. I saw that reported on Twitter, so obviously
I think we might find out who H is, but we might not necessarily have him called.
Okay, well,
but anyway,
enjoy. I'll probably be watching chess videos on YouTube.
As is your want.
As is my want on a Sunday night.
Yeah.
Getting into the Albin counter gambit. Anyone knows that one. Punched out into the leg side by Shaw. They're going to come back for 2. Nicely into the gap. Jordan, the new bowler.
Chris Jordan's back will make him cry. More England caps will soon draw nigh. Or if they don't, then it will seem he'll wish he'd joined the windy team.
I know you just messaged me privately, Jules. Do you mind me sharing that on air?
No, I'll tell you what, I'm going to fess this one up in a second.
Yes.
I just hope he's not listening.
Jordan with a bouncer, Shaw ducks under it.
I was going to ask you whether if chess videos are your thing, like sort of a prime Kasparov against Carlsen at the moment.
Oh God.
Anyway, Jules.
Yes.
I come to do cricket to avoid people talking about line of duty. I also come to avoid because when I go downstairs at the moment, all I'm seeing while you do this ball.
Oh, lifted away by Prithvi Shaw, miles over square leg, lovely shot, picked that up with a minimum of effort, and that's 6.
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Holy Mother of God!
Is that a bit PTSD? Jules, this talk of chess and line of duty.
It's not. It's just a little bit, because every time I walk downstairs at the moment, my other half is watching this chess video with a guy with sort of long grey hair that looks a little bit like Gandalf, and they're talking about moves and plays. But obviously, I know that Andy's a poker player as well, so the thing like nationally. That
I think it is actually. Most of us can't win at poker anymore, so we just play chess. As Prithvi Shaw, which at least you can't lose money playing chess. Prithvi Shaw carves that one between the 2 short men behind square on the offside, and that's 4 more.
That went like a tracer bullet.
I think it's what we've done to pass
there
the
is, I think, quite a crossover, and some of the chess players play poker and vice versa, and it's. But I'll tell you what, you'll get so many poker players were absolute chancers who weren't actually very good. You can't do that. You can't do that in chess. Jordan's in, and it's a slower ball which kind of follows Prithvi Shaw. He shovels it down to deep square. It'll be a single. And yes, as Knackle points out, chess grandmaster Peter Svidler is a Patreon subscriber. Maybe he's listening now. Give me some tips on the King's Indian.
Is that your preferred?
It was. I've kind of gone off it a bit. Shall I talk about chess openings for 20 minutes? I think Jules and Knackle are suggesting no.
Do you like the Najdorf variation of the Sicilian?
No, I prefer the accelerated dragon.
That makes sense.
Jules is banging her head on the desk. Everyone can see the video. pushed through the offside. Oh, by Darwan this time, and Delhi are really cruising here. They're a rook up in the end game. So that's 4 more, and it's 63 for naught at the end of the power play. Unfortunately for everyone concerned, we're going to have a bit of a change.
Holy mother of God! What
I
have
might get a couple
into?
of blitz games in on the break.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph and that wee donkey.
Donkey.
I know that all sports probably seem like this to the uninitiated, but all of that really did just sound like a game of Mornington Crescent.
Just not talking about chess or Line of Duty. I don't know if you've mentioned it. I wasn't listening about the Manchester United fans have invaded the pitch.
Yes,
at Old Trafford.
Yeah, the game has been delayed. Protest against the Glazers.
I don't think the game's going to go ahead.
How do they get into the fucking ground? For Christ's sake!
Because there are enough people inside that stadium who want to encourage the protest.
I was going to suggest, I suspect there might be someone on the inside. Also, I can't imagine there are any stewards at the ground with the game behind closed doors, so it's not like there would be that much security.
Well, chess openings have become a lot more interesting since the introduction of the power play, says Jeff Perkins. I didn't know they had that in chess.
The power surge, maybe? You get an extra piece back if you have more. I don't know how that would work.
Well, Messi Jace is saying we're just making shit up.
Nah.
But that's what we do anyway.
The reason we're talking about this, by the way, is because the first timeout has been taken into 2.5 minutes. Chris Jordan's introduction to the attack made absolutely no difference, except possibly to the aid of the Delhi Capitals, who were 63 for none off the power play.
Yep. It's all it's just added to the run rate.
Is it a bear game?
More fun.
It give it another 4 overs like this, it could be.
At least Delhi Capitals, when they have, we've seen some blowouts this year that have been actually really fun because they've because the team batting second have been so good. Like that game with David Padikkal scored the 100. Absolutely unbelievable. And Prithvi Shaw's batting really well today. Like earlier today, Josh Butler was just too good.
I've seen some games that are sort of one-sided, but there's been a performance which has just made it worth watching.
Yeah, I mean the RCB 10-wicket win was.
It's one of the. I was on.
Even though Padikkal scored the century, Kohli's innings was equally as brilliant. It was the partnership really that did that, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, Kohli was very happy to just play second fiddle to Padikkal for the first part of the innings, and then suddenly just decided to turn it on to get them over the line quicker, and ended up 70 or 40 odd.
It seemed strange that you can go 70 or 40 and play second fiddle. But such was the manner of the run chase.
Yeah, I was on an alternative. I suppose we're the alternative technically.
Yes, you had gone mainstream, sir.
Indeed, I was on with Ravi Bopara, and he was waxing lyrical about David Padikkal that day. I've very rarely seen a professional cricketer look so
Ravi
impressed.
Bopara, he's a batsman.
I've very seen a professional cricketer look so impressed at the work of another professional cricketer.
But there's going to be more change. Harpreet Bar is going to come in, and as bowled. Prithvi Shaw first up.
He is having a hell of a tournament, Harpreet Brar. He was superb against Royal Challengers Bangalore on Friday. Runs and wickets, a quickfire 25 and 3 wickets. Hit his first ball for 4 today, and now he's dismissed one of the informed batters in the tournament with his first ball.
Young kid at PL, the chance to excel. You can't stop Harpreet Brar. He'll never give the game away.
He's taken 4 wickets this season. They have been Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Glenn Maxwell and Prithvi Shaw.
It's not bad, not about. I mean, he's bowling left arm around the wicket, and it pitched on off stump and straightened, and Prithvi Shaw didn't play for any turn, and his off stump came out the ground.
Is this the guy who's hardly played any first class cricket, Knackle?
That's the one.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
But goes to show that
the depth of talent out there is incredible.
what would have been club cricket, a domestic, is now, each of these franchises has any number of scouts, and it's go unearth the talent.
Yeah, and with Punjab, and they scout a lot in Punjab. From Simran Singh and Harpreet Brar, both local boys.
And this second ball again pitches and spins even more from an off-stump line, and this new batsman takes a single to mid-wicket and gets off straight.
Yes, the lesser spotted.
Inevitable. Steve Smith's inevitable. He treats the fielders like they're not really there. He hits the ball in the air across the boundary line. He ain't going nowhere.
Shaka Dhawan is very circumspect with this third delivery, just from outside his off stump, just plays it gently back to the bowler, and that will be another dot ball.
I'm a bit surprised that Rishabh Pant didn't send himself in.
And it's again just dabbed down towards mid-wicket. The bowler will field off his own bowling.
The reason I say that is because Harpreet Brar is a left-hander, a left armer. You'd think that Rishabh Pant, with the ball turning into him, in a similar manner to how he took down Jack Leach in that first Test match, would love the opportunity to have the ball turning into his hitting arc. Seeing how much that ball did turn, there is some turn in this Ahmedabad wicket. I think the Ahmedabad and Delhi wickets have actually both been pretty good all-round wickets.
Well, that's what you want, really, isn't it? You want it to have good carry for seamers. You want it to have a little bit of turn for spinners and consistent bounce.
Yeah, we saw Mumbai, which was pretty decent. The Chennai pitch was too bowler-friendly, really, too spinner-friendly. It was fun, but it got a little bit much.
Smith plays this next ball, the fifth ball of the over, to a short cover, and there'll be no run. And with 2 runs and 1 wicket from the first 5 balls, Harpreet will just waiting on Smith to be ready, and then Harpreet will bowl the last ball of this 7th over. And again, just tries to straighten a little bit, but Smith is able to play the ball down to long off, and they'll take a single. I think you might be able to bring long off up to mid off there. I think you can squeeze even further there. Knuckle, what do you think?
Certainly to Smith, I think early doors, keep the pressure on him, make him do something he doesn't really want to do. The ball is stopping in the wicket a little bit.
Yeah.
I can probably keep Robbie Bishnoi on the other end.
Leia says chess is for losers. Competitive Starfleet battles is where it's at. More complex than chess, and all with only 1 piece per player.
Cannot speak to what I don't know about.
I've never really been much of one for these long scale strategy games. I know how the pieces move in chess, but much to my grandfather's chagrin, I'm not a good chess player.
No, I know how to move all the pieces, I just have no idea what I'm doing.
It's going to be Bishnoi replacing Chris Jordan, and that ball is whipped from outside off stump to long on by Steve Smith, and they'll run through for a single.
Yeah, this is absolutely the right call to keep the spinners on. Stephen Smith, not a particularly quick starter against spin. Shikhar Dhawan is just starting to slow down a little bit. We've seen Bishnoi a couple of times bowl what you might call through and over the wicket. So starting as though he's going to bowl round the wicket and then coming through to over the wicket as though he is a left-arm spinner. Haven't done that. Haven't seen him do that so far today. Gale loiters at slip.
Bishnoi is in, and that is outside of Dhawan's off stump. He tries to cut the ball behind square, but it is fielded by a backward point, and there'll be no run.
Baron's in trouble.
Is it?
Does anyone have a backup supply of candles in case of electrical outages? He's lost his power because of the monsoon season.
Oh, crikey. Bishnoi in again. That is just dabbed into the covers by Shikhar Dhawan. And Riley Meredith will come in from the boundary in order to be able to affect the fielding.
He's still got his mobile.
Alright, well, I hope you're alright, mate.
Yeah, do you have like a crank-handled charger you could use? Or a generator?
Delhi are 68 for 1 after 7.5 overs. Dhawan is 24. Smith
3. Bishnoi is your bowler, halfway through his second over. And he comes in, and there is a premeditated lap shot by Smith, which will beat any fielding effort and will run away for 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Cleverly played by Stephen Smith, googly from Ravi Bishnoi, but he went down very early, made sure that he got it fine. Long leg was in position, but quite wide. It was well anticipated, actually. Prabh Simran Singh behind the stumps sort of got across to his left and kind of did the splits at it to try and stop it.
Yeah. From Bishnoi's perspective, though, it's slightly disappointing. If you're gonna put the googly, you can't go down. You can't start the ball down leg side with the googly. That one, more traditional leg break, which Smith whips through mid-wicket from outside off stump, and they will come through for a comfortable 2.
We saw Karthik Tyagi earlier for the Rajasthan Royals. Ravi Bishnoi was also part of that under-19 World Cup team and was brilliant, was clearly far too good for that level, bamboozled everyone with his googlies in particular.
Is there what's the general consensus of that under-19 side? Is Bishnoi, just that one goes straight, no spin, and it's too quick for Smith. He tries to cut the ball away, and there'll be no run off that last ball of the over. What is the general feeling that the under-19 sides progressed as they might have wanted, or?
Oh, in terms of the players in that team, obviously it's been 2020's been a bit obviously a weird year. But look at the players who come through that team that got to the final. Were the best team in the tournament. Were beaten by Bangladesh. Played above themselves in that final and were brilliant. There's no denying that. But Ravi Bishnoi, Karthik Tyagi, Akash Singh have all come through and got IPL contracts. I think Yashasvi Jaiswal was also in that team. So they're making good progress. It takes more than a few years.
Yeah. Harpreet is in for his second over, and Darwan tries to come down the pitch. Harpreet maybe saw him coming. And in the end, the result of all of that is that Darwan plays the ball down to long on and takes a single.
The one before that in 2018 that won had Prithvi Shaw, Shubman Gill in it at the top of the order. Marvi and Nagar Koti, who play for Kolkata Knight Riders. A few other talented players in there.
Yeah. Smith plays the ball from the crease and just pushes that through the covers and in front of square, so I think they'll be able to come back for 2, and indeed they do.
In fact, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devdutt Padikkal didn't make the under-19 squad in 2018. There's been a real emphasis on this progression through the under-19s, the Ranji Trophy, the A team, and Rahul Dravid coaches both the under-19s and India A. So
okay,
that's progression.
I like that. I like that sort of consistency there.
And through the National Cricket Academy in Bangalore.
Smith again just backs away slightly to leg and pushes the ball down to long off. He'll comfortably take a single. No real need for histrionics and heroics at this stage. Delhi is 78 for 1 after 8.5 overs, which is comfortably ahead of the 58 for 2 that Punjab were at this stage.
Oh, they're well ahead of the rate, but you don't want 3 or 4 overs to go through like this.
Well, that is more on leg side, and Darwan chips this ball behind square, and again Meredith will come round to do the fielding, and then again another comfortable 2. And I think if you can position, if you can manipulate the field instead of these comfortable ones, that you take the occasional 2 in there as well, it does swing the balance of the over in your favour, I think.
You've got to be getting 1 boundary and over at least.
And that is down on one knee by Shikhar Dhawan, and he'll sweep that again to Riley Meredith behind square on the leg side, and it's been Whitehall so far, 1-2, 1-2, and all we need to complete the cycle is for Smith to take 2 off this final ball.
A lot of work to get 9 off and over. It's a lot of work to get 9 off and over.
Good
7.
Good ball just on off stump. Smith can only push it to cover, no run, and at the end of the 9th over, Delhi are 81 for 1. Nestle boy.
Jersey Oak asks, is that 3D chess from Star Trek a real game that people play? I bet somebody does. Oh,
loads of people do.
Man United Liverpool postponed, says Mark.
They couldn't stage the game.
There's no way that they're going to have to up security, and there's going to have to be some people in uniform who might have to be quite forceful.
This is going to rumble on, though. This is incredible.
Well, unless someone's prepared to stump up $5 billion for the Glazers to be able to.
No, I mean the fact that they've had to postpone a Premier League game where there's no fans allowed, and they've got in.
I don't remember the last time I saw anything like this in English football.
No.
This is the sort of thing that you see in Italy sometimes when they interrupt training or a game, or in Latin America. But I mean, I think it does show the strength of feeling around the European Super League in this country, and kind of the breaking point that was reached.
But the question becomes, I hate to mention it, but where's the guarantee that fans are the best people to be able to be involved in the run of a club? As it's going to be Huda who bowls the next over, and that is outside of Darwan's off stump. He tries to cut the ball away, but can only find the fielder behind square, and there'll be no run.
I had slightly forgotten that Deepak Huda was in this team as a bowling option. Decent little off spinner, bringing him up after this ball.
As Darwan backs away and cuts him through cover, but there's a deep cover there.
She could be quite useful.
There's be a single.
Could be quite useful. There's a lot of left-handers in this Delhi team. We use Shikhar Dhawan and then Rishabh Pant and Shimron Hetmeyer. Anyway, here is Huda.
Are you looking for a good time? Deepak Huda, are you ready for my love?
I love that.
Yeah, fans of shorts are fanatics. Huda in, and that is short. Dragged down a little bit, and Smith is able to cut the ball, and it's cut the ball up behind square. Some good work on the boundary sponge will limit that to 2, I think. I think they might take another look, just to make sure that there was no contact with the boundary sponge. We'll have another look at this good work. Yep, just managed to stop himself short there. Trips over his own legs, but 2 runs saved. Huda in again, darted in rather, but at Smith's legs, and he'll turn that to mid-wicket and take an easy single. 84 for 1, halfway there, 83 left to be able to affect the victory.
Wilson Marlan on YouTube just says hi.
Hi.
Hi, Wilson. Hope you're all right, mate.
Yeah. About as much as we can hope for anyone that you're okay.
Yep. Okay, and enjoying our commentary.
Yep.
Say again to anyone in India or who has family in India, we hope that you and your loved ones and your friends are okay and safe as can be. We are going to keep covering this IPL, and as long as it's happening, and I'm not sure there is a realistic possibility or that it would necessarily be the right thing to stop it, but we're also not going to pretend it's happening in a vacuum.
That is true. Huda in again after a small break in proceedings. Darwan just dabs the ball no more than 10 yards away from him in the offside field, and they scamper through for a single. Good quick work by Darwan and Smith, who are both on the wrong side of 30 in order to be able to take such quick singles, but good placement.
Yeah, it might have been tricky with a direct hit. Shah Rukh Khan got the throw away in quickly, and I think Shikhar Dhawan was gone with a direct hit.
Yeah.
Actually, you could see Shah Rukh Khan sort of ran off in oh, woe is me, why didn't that hit? Not far away.
Not far away. Again, darted into the legs, and Smith hits the ball through mid-wicket, and there'll be a single. That will bring us to the halfway stage. 80 required off 10 overs. Smith 16, Darwan 30. Nestle boy, what have we got?
Well, in reply to the question about Star Trek 3D chess, of course, Leia knows the answer to that and just says yes.
Yes.
Mark Zip wants to know why there's no Maxwell in Knuckles' team.
He was definitely on the on the long list, as it were. But just looking at the overseas balance, Pollard's got to be in there. De Villiers has got to be in there. Rashid Khan's got to be in there, and I went for Moeen up the order because he's made slightly more of an impact more often. But it'll be tight between Moeen and Maxwell, I think.
Harpreet will continue.
Something's got to give.
Third over. Now more outside the off stump, and Smith goes over the top of extra cover. No real attempt to try and clear the boundary sponge, but enough to be able to bring about 2. I did get confused there because Smith seemed to be just stood in his crease like as if he hadn't run. Sorry about that, just for a moment.
It's no boundary for 2.5 overs now.
Yep. Smith comes down the track and takes this ball from outside off stump, hits it through mid-wicket, and they'll come through for a well-judged 2 again. There seems to be some gaps for Smith and Darwan to be able to manipulate if the boundaries are going to dry up.
Controversial viewpoint from Jersey Oak coming up.
What's that?
Well, he says that the match should be postponed, it should be cancelled, and Liverpool awarded a 3-0 win to stop it happening again.
Rubbish. As Smith backs away slightly to leg and takes this slightly quicker ball from Harpreet into the covers. Deep cover there will restrict everything to a single, and halfway through the 11th over we're 92 for 1. No. They'll just play it another time. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what other time at this stage, but...
There's plenty of time between now and the end of the season. It's not a problem.
They, I mean, football's been weird in the last few weeks, hasn't it?
Yes.
I mean, on top of that, Arsenal won today as well. Crikey. What's going on?
Slightly short, and Darwan is able to swing and pull this ball away, but mistimes it horribly. It will go all the way to Riley Meredith on the boundary sponge, and there'll be a single, and Darwan will move to 30. Yeah, he's taken 26 balls, sorry.
This is I mean, Delhi are obviously very well set. They're 93 for 1. They only need 8 and over, but the required run rate and the current run rate are getting closer together. This is the kind of position from which you can easily dig yourself into a hole.
True enough. This ball on leg stump, and Smith is able again to push this ball through a mid-wicket area, and a single taken. 1 ball left to go in the 11th over. Delhi on 94 for 1.
We've watched enough IPL cricket over the last few years to know also that anything can bloody happen in these matches.
True enough. Yeah, you should write advertising slogans. Anything can bloody happen.
You've got to kill it when you've got the chance.
Yeah.
Darwan comes down the track, pushes the ball through mid-wicket. Is there 2 there? The answer is yes, there is. Well ran by Smith and Darwan. Darwan's on 33, Smith 22, Delhi 96 for 1. 9 overs left to go.
Well, I mean, I've seen some remarkable results. It's a bit like Test cricket, where, in the last few years, there's been something, people go on about how boring Test cricket is. It's been fucking amazing the last few years.
People who are saying Test cricket is boring haven't watched Test cricket long enough.
No.
For the last few years.
To be fair, years ago it could get a bit bloody, I remember watching it way back sometimes and just thinking, good God, this is awful.
There are certainly times, like, you look at scorecards in the 50s and 60s and you read the reports and you wonder how the game survived.
Exactly.
And then there's certainly part in subcontinental tests in the 70s and 80s, particularly India-Pakistan series, which were a regular feature. And what you'd get is both teams terrified of losing and producing very flat pitches. But there have not been very many bad test matches in the last 4 or 5 years.
No, they've been fantastic. And with the IPL, like I say, I've seen some incredible things go on in this tournament. Not just this year, because I've been watching it now for a number of years with you guys, and it's the
highest level T20 tournament in the world. And also sometimes even when the cricket is, the standard is quote unquote bad, it is ridiculous and intense and chaotic in a brilliant way.
As that ball is pushed through mid-wicket from Bushnell by Smith, and there'll again be a single. No sort of panic, but also no sense of urgency either from Delhi in these last few overs.
No, only 25 runs in the last 3.5 overs, no boundaries.
Got to be careful.
Of course, Rishabh Pant will come in and make a mockery of all that, but still. Or Hetmeyer.
Maybe both. Bishnoi in again for the second ball of this over, and Darwan has tried to go the distance over cow corner, and he does so with some ease. And all of a sudden, the boundary drive is over with a massive 6.
Yeah, had to do that. Someone had to just break the spell a little bit. I mean, what you can say is there've been very few dot balls in the last few overs, just given a little bit more air the googly, and Shikhar Dhawan is very powerful over mid-wicket.
Easily done. Bishnoi seems rueful as he goes back to his run. Anil Kumble thinks that it was all better in his day. But certainly no better mentor for Bishnoi to have, as that one just slightly quicker and hurries Dhawan along, and he's only able to push that to cover, and there'll be no run.
I heard Anil Kumble saying that Ravi Bishnoi didn't play the first few games of the season, and everyone was trying to work out why. Anil Kumble was doing some one-on-one work with Ravi Bishnoi to fix a technical problem that he'd spotted.
No, I mean, and if there is, there's the one to spot it. That one's pushed slightly wider, and Dhawan able to find Riley Meredith again, who restricts everything to a single, and with 2 balls left to go in the 12th over, we are 104 for 1.
So yeah, I really like Shikhar Dhawan's bat. I like the kookaburra with the nice sort of spare blue stickers on matching the kit. It's very nice.
Is it the matching effect of it?
I think so, and the bat, it just looks very clean and not too busy.
There are 50 balls left to go in this innings, and there are 63 runs that are required as Smith hits the ball through the mid-wicket area, which is used for the majority of his runs. Harpreet will do the fielding, and Smith will be 24 off 19 without really doing too much, either aggressively or defensively.
No.
This partnership worth 42 at more than a run a ball.
No, there's only 1 boundary for Stephen Smith, but I'd be surprised if there were many dot balls in there. But it's an innings that belongs to a different pitch, because this is quite a good pitch. You can score quickly on it. And net run rate could be a factor. In fact, I'm going to go so far as to say will be a factor later in the tournament.
Now we've got the change in run-up from Harpreet. He, in the ultimate end of all of that, was a ball outside of Dhawan's off stump, but short enough that he could pull it through to deep square leg. There will be a single taken. Dhawan's 41, Smith is 24. Delhi 106 for 1 with 8 overs left to go.
Just to explain what Ravi Bishnoi is doing. So he has this run up where he comes in on an angle from sort of, as we're looking at it, left to right. Then he goes left, then he comes right. What he did on that occasion was that he went so far right as to be looking to go round the wicket, then veered back to over the wicket, essentially coming through and over. So he's describing a sort of double S curve, like a chicane, almost, as he comes to the crease. It is quite fun to watch.
It's and also at the same time feels utterly redundant.
Well, I can imagine it might throw the batter off a little bit in terms of just messing
the batter's got to know which side he's coming through.
Well, the umpire will say he's coming over the wicket.
Well, yeah, so I mean, so it's not like it's a mystery in that regard.
No, but it might just buy you a few balls of distraction. I'm all for bowlers introducing bits of flourish and bits of oddity into their run-up, as long as they can get it down the other end.
Flourish, oddity, by all means, so long as it's effective. Anyway, change in the bowling. Harpreet has still got 1 over left to go, I feel, but it's going to be the life of Riley Meredith who's going to come back to bowl.
Punjab have done very well with their spinners, but they're just trying to change up the mode of attack. I'll jingle up Riley after his first ball.
Meredith looks angry as he comes into the crease, and it's short and on middle stump, and it's been pulled away in front of square by Shikhar Dhawan, and the throw, if accurate, would have been interesting. However, the throw from Harpreet was inaccurate, and 2 were able to be taken.
Shikhar Dhawan had given that up for dead. He was yards short.
Fresh young kid, Tasmanian devil, athletic and quick. In one day he'll revel. When you bat, you've got to keep an eye on the line of Riley.
And the line of Riley is just outside off stump, and Dhawan pushes the ball to the covers and takes a single, moving him to 44.
Blair's sent the Wikipedia page to everyone for three-dimensional chess, so you can all delve into that.
Oh yeah, you can buy three-dimensional chess sets quite readily. I'm sure I bought someone one as a Christmas present or something.
God. Doesn't the IPL have a plan B to take the competition to UAE to finish if necessary? Asked Jersey Oak.
Not one they've gone public with. There is a plan to take the T20 World Cup to the UAE potentially if they're not able to hold it in India later.
I think isn't that almost a definite that that's happening? I saw.
Well, I don't know.
There's a long time to go between now and then, as Meredith is in a full-length delivery outside off stump, and Smith tries to drive the ball but can only mistime it to mid-off, and there'll be no run.
I get the feeling with Steve Smith, I'm watching the same sort of innings that he's had previously in this IPL.
Every innings is this sort of innings from Steve Smith, which is you look at it and you go, well, it's nice what you've done, but there's always feels like there's the potential for you to do more.
Yeah.
Going back to what Knuckle was saying about flourish and things like that, Smith is the archetypal person sometimes of where the flourish turns around to be something that inhibits rather than promotes. As Riley is in, and that is short, and Smith can't pull it away. An opportunity missed there, but there'll be a leg by, I think. Certainly a single of some description, indeed a leg by.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, over the course of his career and the totality of his career, I think you can absolutely say that it's helped Stephen Smith. He is probably the best test batter in the current era, one of the best of all time, a very good one-day international player, but I don't think it's the flourish that makes this the case, but he just isn't an elite T20 batter.
No, I'm not. It's not an argument about T20. The things that he does to keep his mechanics sound sometimes stops him from. As that is on leg stump, and Darwan tries to hit the ball down to fine leg, but there is a fielder there for such a shot, and there'll be a single. And so far, there has been 5 runs, including the leg by. So a deep enough return from Meredith.
In this IPL, he seems like a really good nerdler, but you don't need a nerdler.
No, I think his role in the team is an odd one. He wouldn't be in the team if Shreyas Iyer were fit. Obviously, he hadn't got injured. And I think there's a very good case for leaving him out, moving Punt and Hetmeyer up the order, and bringing in Billings, or if you wanted a bowler, Wokes, or if you wanted a bowler who can't bat, Norkia.
Last ball of this over. Meredith is in, and that is hit deep to square by Smith. It hasn't got the distance, and Smith's vigil is at an end. Too high, not long enough. Taken at deep square leg.
Simple catch for David, world #1 T20 ranked international batter Milan. Cross seam, Smith trying to go over the leg side. I think that's the longer boundary out there, and he got very, very under it.
His bat was almost completely at 90. The bat face was, instead of being sort of tilted to be able to drive it towards the leg side, he was almost completely underneath it, and that's where you got the height from.
Well, you see, Josh
he's
Butler
lost the distance.
Well, we saw Josh Butler do that. We've seen Josh Butler do that a lot, where he gets the bat face almost right under the ball, but Butler has the power and the wrist to be able to get the power into the shot and the forward momentum. Smith doesn't. But I mean, I will credit Stephen Smith for at least getting out, trying to hit a boundary. The over had gone for only 5. I think a little bit of credit to Riley Meredith there.
Absolutely.
And at the timeout, 13 overs gone. Delhi 111.42. They need 8.5 and over. They need 8 and over. They're currently going in 8.5 and over. Punjab Kings have done well, I think, to stretch this out. The spinners have bowled pretty well. Harpreet Brar very good again. 3 overs, 1 for 19. 1 decent over for 6 for Deepak Hooda. Ravi Bishnoi, a little bit more expensive, 3 overs, none for 27. But they've kept to the game alive-ish. But I have just seen that Rishabh Pant has come in, who will jingle up as we go into this second timeout sponsored by Woodstock.
Are we do a change?
Go 1 more over. Go 1 more over at the change.
I always get confused. It's easily done these days.
Is it?
Virat Kohli fans has joined us on Cricket Tracker India. I don't know if it's all of the Virat Kohli fans, but it's certainly one of them. Along with Vinay Malik, Sanjay Sharabi, Mohammed Saad Khan. Hope you're all doing okay and enjoying our commentary service, because we're enjoying giving it to you.
here every Tuesday, Thursday and Sunday of the league stage of the IPL and all of the playoff games. As we move through this tournament into the second half of the tournament now. This is the first of the return fixtures between the Punjab Kings and the Delhi Capitals. Delhi won the reverse fixture very comfortably, chasing down a pretty good total that Punjab put up at Mumbai, but Shikhar Dhawan was very impressive that day. Punjab Kings today made 166 for 6 with Mayank Agarwal's 99 out of 58, really the only score of note. The next highest score was 26 off 26 by Darwin Malan, but then nobody else passed 13, with Kaysar Rabada taking 3 wickets, 1 each for Avesh Khan and Akshar Patel, and a decent enough spell for Lalit Yadav as well. After 13 overs, the Delhi Capitals are 111 for 2. Prithvi Shaw started in superb form again, but was bowled first ball by Harpreet Brar for 39 off 22 balls. Stephen Smith has just fallen for 25 off 22. Another stodgy innings from Stephen Smith, skying a ball off Riley Meredith to be caught by Darwin Malan. Shikhar Dhawan is 45 not out off 34, and he's just been joined at the crease by Rishabh Pant. Delhi Capitals 111 for 2. They need 56 off the remaining 7 overs.
We haven't really seen full Rishabh Pant yet, have we?
No, we've seen glimpses. He's been less effective than normal. There was the game earlier this week, wasn't it? It was the Delhi game where Hetmeyer couldn't get them over the line. It was RCB, I think. Shimron Hetmeyer just couldn't get them over the line, and Rishabh Pant was 40 off 40, I think, in that game.
It is going to be Shikhar Dhawan to face the first ball of this 14th over. My last over, Bishnoi is in, and that is again down on one knee and hit hard and flat by Shikhar Dhawan, and he goes to his 50 with a smaximum over mid-wicket.
Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air. Legs moving side to side. Smack it in the air. Smack it in the air.
Smaximum.
50 runs. Your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Bishnoi has changed tacticum over the wicket, but it's done no good. Dhawan again down on all fours, same part of the ground through mid-wicket, but this time all along the ground, and before the fielders moved 5 yards, he's picking it up out the sponge. That really went hard and fast for floor.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Yeah, starting to get going. Rohit Bishnoi's just giving it that little bit more air than either Harpreet or Deepak Hooda were, and Shikhar Dhawan is swinging with the ball in his arc.
Let's see what happens next. As we might expect, slightly wider outside off stump, encouraging Dhawan to cut. He does, but the field is there for such a delivery, and they'll get him off strike, which is, I suppose, a moral enough victory, but it's taken you 11 runs to be able to do it.
Al, have you got one of those name tags on?
Yes, I have.
Okay, we know who you are.
It says, "Hello, my name is Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die."
It doesn't say. Okay. It doesn't say, "My name is Al. Ask me about cricket."
Nope. It says, "Hello, my name is Indigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Delhi are 122 for 2 after 13 and a half overs, 45 to win, 39 balls in which to strike off the runs. Bishnoi is in, and Rishabh Pant starts with a reverse sweep that goes for 4.
Give it to me 1 time. Give it to me 2 times. Give it to me 3 times. Yeah. Give it to me 4 times.
Yeah. Chris Gale's at leg slip, isn't he? So it's like as if they're either trying to kill Chris Gale or the field is there for such a shot.
Well, he's there at regular slip, and they've you don't change the field, as it were, or the often leg-sidey designations with the reverse sweep. But yeah, the slip was in place. Punt.
In which case, Rishabh Pant is trying to kill Chris Gale. few balls left to go with this over. The googly there, and Pant can't turn that to beyond mid-wicket, and there'll be no run. Who is it who's going to take us through these last overs? Is it Knackle? Is it you?
Me, Andy, and Jules, and then for the super over, if by some strange chance Delhi can't do this inside the 20.
Okay.
41 off 37, they really should.
My last ball, and that again is a ball that's turning away, and Pant can't push that through the covers, and there'll be no run. 126 for 2, 6 overs left to go. See you guys next week.
Cheers, Al. Cheers for your good work. Cheers, Nestlers. Yeah, not a great day at the office for Ravi Bishnoi. 15 runs off the over, none for 42 off his 4. Shikhar Dhawan took a bit of a liking to him. Delhi Capitals 126 for 2 with that expensive over. Need 41 of 36. And Andy, we were talking about not letting this go too deep, and that's just the over they need to just bring things under control a little bit more.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you need 8 and over, you should be favourites. But then once you have a big over on top of that, it's really just a question of, even I would say, don't go mad, don't do anything stupid. There's a temptation to try to win it again in 1 over. But, 41 in 6 overs with 8 wickets left. Stranger things have happened, but if Dhawan in particular just keeps his head and keeps going, it really shouldn't be a problem, and they have at least 2 more batsmen to come as well.
As I say, Shimron Hetmeyer, Marcus Stoinis, Akshar Patel can bat, Lalit Yadav's not too bad with the bat, even Kahisa Rabada's not too bad with the bat. Also joined by Jules Farman.
Hello.
Fresh off watching Hashim Amla and Kemar Roach beat Hampshire by themselves.
There was a few other notable performances.
Mohammad Shami is back into the attack, replacing Riley Meredith. He's around the wicket to his India teammate Shikhar Dhawan, who cuts this out to Darwin Malan on the deep point boundary. They come through for a single off the bowling of this man.
He's coming down fast and moving it too. Tell me the answer. He may be a bowler, but he's often injured. Look out, Mohammad Shami.
Punjab Kings and to some extent Stephen Smith have kept this game alive longer than we thought it might be. Stephen Smith 25 off 22, somewhat out of place in this Delhi team. Shami in outside off stump to Rishabh Pant, who cuts this hard down to Ravi Bishnoi at third man. They come through for a single.
I think the difference is you look at someone like Dhawan and even Butler, as you said this morning, can have a start where they get 25 off 20 or so on, but they've always got that extra gear, and really once Steve Smith tries to accelerate in this format, it just looks all his little idiosyncrasies and technical quirks just get multiplied by 10, and he just seems to be a bit all over the place.
Yeah, it always looks awkward. Does it when Smith tries to accelerate. Short ball into the body from Mohammad Shami. Not a great delivery with no one at long legs. Shikhar Dhawan puts it away with consummate ease. 4 runs.
The number of the day. Who could ask for more? The number of the day is 4.
I mean, Jules, I heard you say earlier that you wouldn't have Stephen Smith in a T20 team. I'm inclined to agree.
He's an all-out test player. You'd absolutely want him in your test side, as long as you've got someone to manage him. But you would not want him in a fast-hitting one like a T20. It's like picking Alistair Cook in the T20 side. It makes no sense.
So Josh Butler saying today that he'll finally be able to. Alistair Cook can finally shut up about having one more T20 100 than Josh Butler. This is dropped into the offside, and they run a not particularly quick single. It was remarkable. I know Butler spent a lot of time in the middle order and has only just been opening in the last 3 years, but it was remarkable that today was his first T20 100.
Well, that certainly surprises me. I would have guessed more than none before today. I was going to say it wasn't that long ago Alistair Cook was still playing T20 for England within the last 10 years.
I'm not sure it was for England. I think it might have been for Essex that he got a T20 100.
No, but he did play T20 for England.
He did when they basically picked the same team for all 3 formats.
Yeah.
34 needed off 32. Rishabh Pant, Shimron Hetmeyer and Marcus Stoinis and to come. As Shami in rather stuttered in his run-up, Rishabh Pant flamingos this over deep square leg. Harpreet Brar was in a little bit off the rope, I think, for the miss hit. Rishabh Pant did not miss hit it. 6 runs.
6, 6, 6.
say Flamingos, the back leg came up, and incredible helicopter flick into the leg side, the wrists going through 360 degrees. Incredible shot.
It was a little flourish. It reminded me a little bit of David Beckham's kick on Diego Simeone in 1990.
Oh yeah,
it was about as strong.
The little donkey kick, just hanging the leg out behind him. Good Yorker from Mohamed Shami. Punt trying to make room to go through the covers. Shami followed him and drives out to cover. There is no run. But that was a good over for the Delhi Capitals. 13 runs off it there, 139 for 2, and need 28 only off the last 5 overs with 8 wickets in hand.
So Jose Oka's come in and said with only 8 teams it gets boring. With 1 billion people in India, you think they could expand it a bit to maybe 12 teams.
Too many games.
Victor Vazezo came in and said, well, that will add about 2 more months to the tournament.
Exactly.
They are expanding to 9 teams next year and then 10 the year after, but they'll change the format. They've had 10 teams before, and what they did was they did it in 2 groups with a few crossover games. But you couldn't do a 10 or 12 team round robin, would take too long.
Absolutely epic. And Farong has come in and said if the T20 World Cup is switched to the UAE from India, then I'm convinced the ICC is just a subsidiary of the BCCI. If the Australian government has said they wouldn't allow the cup to be switched from India to Australia, then I will take back my earlier comment. Has Australia said anything about
I mean, with the way Australia is currently threatening to imprison its own citizens for trying to get back into Australia. I mean, it's October, November, so there's plenty of time. But the backup plan, if they can't hold it in India, is the UAE. Deepak Hooda into the attack, trying to go match-up off-spinner to left-handers. Shikhar Dhawan flat bats this down the ground, too long off. They come through for a single off the bowling of this tidy off-spinner.
Deepak Hooda, are you looking for a good time? Deepak Hooda, are you ready for my love?
Scorer in this year's tournament, Shikhar Dhawan. That was his 3rd 50 of the season that he racked up today.
When he's going well, he looks so good.
Yeah, he's so well balanced at the crease. The timing and the fluency is excellent. You and I have commentated on a couple of excellent Shikhar Dhawan innings this season. Down the track he comes and just drops a single to short mid-wicket.
And that's right, but towards the end of the last one, the stats showed up, and his actual lifetime strike rate is surprisingly low. I guess he is maybe another slow starter who does put together quite a few 15 or 15s.
Even his strike rate this season, as I'll come back to that, as Hooda is, in fact it was Punt who took that single. Reverse sweep from Shikhar Dhawan, really chops down on it and gets it fine, fielded by Gale reluctantly at short third man. His strike rate this season, when he has been going very well, is actually lower than KL Rahul's, which I wouldn't have thought would be the case from the eye test. I mean, Rahul did actually bat very quickly against RCB on Friday, but even so, Hooda is into Rishabh Pant, keeps a little bit low outside off stump. Pant tries to cut, can't beat cover, no run. 3 runs off the over thus far from Hooda. The spinners have definitely had the best of it for Punjab today.
I'm just wondering what Punjab can do from here. Just try to string a few dot balls together.
This is outside off stump, overspun, cut this time and beats cover. Riley Meredith will do the fielding and the falling outside the 30-yard circle on the edge of the cover boundary. They come through for 2. Net run rate damage minimisation, which is important. I think there is, as I keep saying, last year's tournament, 3rd and 8th were separated by 2 points.
But the only way to stop this and stop the Capitals from winning is to get Darwin out, and they just do not look like they're going to get Darwin out.
They don't look like they're going to get anyone out really at this stage. Outside off stump and cut by Rishabh Pant, straight to Harpreet Brar at backward point. There is no run. Tidy over from Deepak Hooda. Help with the net run rate minimisation, but probably just delaying the inevitable 5 runs off the over. Delhi Capitals need 23 off the remaining 4 overs.
Wilson Marianne is with us on YouTube, so hello to you. Nice of you to join us on there.
Yeah, you'd think that with just 4 overs left, sooner or later they'll have another 10-12 over with a couple of boundaries that will just finish this off really. You talked about commentating on Darwan's innings previously. When he got that 90, I think he was really going into 5th and 6th and 7th gear and almost got himself out by just having too little respect for the bowlers. So as long as he doesn't do that, he should be fine.
Chris Jordan, who was taken apart by by Prithvi Shaw and Shikhar Dhawan earlier, is back into the attack, 1 over none for 17. He's never really been able to replicate what he's done for England in any T20 format, as likeable and popular a man as he is.
No, it's a strange one. It is a little bit of a strange one. I can't speak too much about his domestic T20 stats in England. They're not exceptional, are they?
No, I mean, he's in a very stacked Sussex attack. I mean, at full strength, they have one of the best T20 attacks.
Rashid Khan as well, don't they?
Indeed, yeah. Jordan in, Dhawan comes down the track and pulls into the leg side. Well fielded by Shah Rukh Khan. Big man that got down quickly. They will come through for 2. I mean, at full strength, they've lost Danny Briggs, who's a very good power play spinner in particular, but Chris Jordan, Jofra Archer, Tamal Mills, and Rashid Khan, with backup from George Garton, who's very quick, Ollie Robinson. Rohi Bopara is very tidy as a sort of middle overs seamer. It's amazing they don't win more Sussex with that move.
Batting.
Yeah,
really important.
that's the thing. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Delray Rawlins, but he's very inconsistent. Phil Salt, also a good player. Shikhar Dhawan facing up to Chris Jordan, comes down the track and goes very inside out, really open the face to try and get it into the gap. Just be a single out to Darwin Malan. 20 needed off 22. A little bit like Notts, Jules. I mean, Notts won their first game in 30 championship games yesterday, but you know, the attack they've been able to put out at times, and then the absolute shit show that they've been in first-class cricket.
I mean, it's a psychological battle, isn't it? Have they won since Chris Reed retired? I don't think they have, and I think it's just overcoming that challenge in their head, because on paper they look absolutely fine.
Yeah, they won. So they beat Derbyshire this week, but that was their first. That was end of the 30-game winning streak. Rishabh Pant has lost control of the bat. The bat has gone to short fine leg. The ball has gone high in the air to cover. All sorts happening. Rishabh Pant, not swinging himself off his feet, but swinging the bat out of the hand, and he's gone for 14 off 11. The bat has only just landed, and the Delhi captain walks back to the middle. A wicket for Chris Jordan. Delhi 147 for 3. That was all a bit of fun.
Another look at that one. Still doesn't win most inelegant dismissal of the day from Chris Gale, but it was a good contender. Just had a big swing, and as you say, just completely seemed to lose control of everything.
Yeah,
he was trying to overdo the flamingo shot. It wasn't really full enough. He was trying to hit it too square. And looks a bit annoyed, but his team should win comfortably from here.
Yeah, he's probably left a few out there. Man who's made a bit of a difference to Delhi this season, or certainly made some good contributions. This Guyanese.
I'm Shimron Headmeyer. Sounds like an Israeli president.
That should bring Darwan back on strike, though, doesn't it?
You could have run many in the time that ball was in the air.
Yeah, I think so. His bat almost made it to the other end on its own.
I was going to say, you could have run one while the bat was in the air. So yes, Shikhar Dhawan on 67 off 44 will be on strike. 20 needed off 21 balls. Another couple of boundaries in this game is dead. Chris Jordan in, driven off the front foot by Shikhar Dhawan. Ravi Bishnoi fields at backward point. There is no run. Much better over this from Chris Jordan, who was kind of all over the place in his first over.
Yeah, picked up a wicket and only a couple of runs, I think.
I think that's the thing with Jordan. He can be very, very in-out, but when he has his spectacular games, he really goes for it. But the other thing we haven't discussed is his fielding, because his fielding for England is phenomenal, and yet I've not seen that in the domestic game.
Chris Jordan in slower ball into the wicket. Dhawan waits for it and pulls it round the corner. It'll just be a single out to Harpreet, who's been very impressive again today. Deep backward square, bringing Hetmeyer on to strike. Yeah, he's taken some absolutely astonishing catches. There was one running round the boundary about 10 yards, just stuck a hand out like it was nothing into the hands it went. He is a world-class fielder anywhere, Chris Jordan.
Sort of like teams can't quite work out what to do with him. We know he's good, but we're not quite sure what to do with him.
Yeah,
so
he's carved out a career for himself with England as a death bowler, but it's never really worked for him at franchise level anywhere in the world. not just the IPL. He is very inconsistent, but can be effective. Hetmeyer through the pool way too early, toe ends it. Quite impressive to be that early on a ball that's 143 kilometres an hour. Jordan showing off his athleticism, dives to try and stop the ball going past him. It didn't have a lot of power on it anyway, so it just goes to mid-off. There is no run. Good over from Chris Jordan, following up a good over from Deepak Hooda. So 1, 2, 3, only 9 runs and a wicket off the last 2 overs. Game is still just about alive. Delhi Capitals need 19 off the last 3 overs.
Yeah, I was going to say just about, if they can sneak another over in for 2 or 3 with maybe a wicket and get it down to 16 off 8, they could just get their toe in the door. Who's going to bowl this one, though? It looks like Meredith.
Let's see who's got overs. I think Harpreet has got one left, which would be a risk to 2 left-handers. Meredith and Shami and Jordan have all got overs left.
Perhaps one each from them. It looks like Meredith for this one, though.
Plenty of bowling options.
He's doing the pointing.
Harpreet and Hooda bowled 5 between them. Ravi Bishnoi has bowled out. Chris Gale is a sort of very emergency 7th option.
Yes, I don't think this is that much of an emergency.
He's taken a lot of wickets over the years, Chris Gale, but he's an even more reluctant bowler than he is a fielder. Riley Meredith is in the tall Australian to Shikhar Dhawan, who goes down on one knee and slog sweep pulls this out to David Malan at deep square leg. They come through for a single. Big grin from Riley Meredith, because I think he slightly foxed Shikhar Dhawan with the slower ball.
Yeah, Dhawan actually in the last 10 minutes has just looked a little bit off with his timing. Not really sure why. He usually gets better and better as the innings goes on.
It's about 11 o'clock there, maybe he's a bit tired.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, you've got to be presumably be used to it. I mean, the day games must be an interesting one, because your body clock is geared for starting at 7:30 at night, and then it's an interesting. I heard people say that Sunil Narine, now really struggles to get up early in the morning, because the whole sort of latter phase of his career has been playing nighttime T20 games.
Well, it's as you say, if these games finishing 11:30 local time, you've got to get out of the bubble. You've got to get back to your hotel. You're probably full of adrenaline from the game. Might be 1 o'clock before you get your head on the pillow, and then how long to get to sleep?
Hetmeyer launches Meredith down the ground. That's gone very high up over the sight screen for 6. That'll help.
Yep, doesn't hurt.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's not the length Meredith needs to be bowling. He's either got to get the Yorker in or bang it back at the length.
Yeah, that was slot, and Hetmeyer is a very powerful man. Didn't really get that off the middle, but still managed to hit it 80 metres back over the bowler's head.
No, didn't. It was more of a swing than a timed shot. But as you say, he's got that strength.
I love watching Shimron Hetmeyer when he's going well. He's one of my favourite players to watch in the world.
Might finish it this over if he gets going.
12 needed off 6. In comes Meredith. Goes short. Ooh. Absolutely hammered by Shimron Hetmeyer. He's a very good player of the pull shot. He picked that up early. That's gone for 6 as well.
5, 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row. 2 6s in a row.
It's really, that's a bit of a surprise it's lasted as long as this, to be honest. The target never looked
the toe of the bat. That was the length I was asking Riley Meredith to bowl, so I probably can't help him any more than that.
Yeah, but Hetmeyer was waiting for it. He's pulled a pretty decent bouncer over mid-wicket for 6.
And that should be end of that. And if they get through at the end of this over, it will give them a little run rate boost.
Yeah, it won't be enough to catch Chennai, who, even despite yesterday's loss, have a fantastic net run rate of over 1 with Delhi Capitals at 0.4. But it'll just extend the lead a little bit. They will go top of the table with the win, of course. Will be the first team to rack up 6 wins. As Riley Meredith is in. That's driven very powerfully by Shimron Hetmeyer. Cover barely moved, and it screams to the cover boundary for 4.
That went like a tracer bullet.
16 needed off 4. Sorry, Hetmeyer 16 off 4. They need 2 off 14 balls.
Yeah, if you have your video on YouTube or Facebook, you will have seen me nodding my head for the shot, and I think Jules shaking her head for the bowling.
It was pretty slotty, wasn't it? It's a half volley outside off stump.
Well, it's his first season in the IPL, Riley Meredith, and it's going to be a learning curve for him.
Yeah, he had bowled well up until this,
but
when the game was pretty much lost. But
much like Avesh in the first innings.
That's a wide outside off stump, and the scores are level.
Why?
The target never looked enough. It looks 15 short.
Maybe Meredith thinks if I bowl 2 wides, then at least I won't get hit for 6.
And Delhi Capitals winning it with 2 overs to spare, as they did in a much higher chase in Mumbai earlier this season. They are just a much better team than Punjab.
They're a good team. Honestly, the way the matches have worked out, I've seen them 3 times, I think, or I haven't seen CSK at all. So it's a bit difficult to compare them directly to CSK and RCB, the other teams going well. And of course, Mumbai are in there, but they definitely look like the best 4 teams.
Meredith goes wide outside of something, it is finished with a wide. That's pretty ignominious, to be honest. And Meredith has bowled better than that. But the game is done. The Delhi Capitals have beaten the Punjab Kings. They have really beaten up the Punjab Kings because Barkale Rahul's Mayank Agarwal's excellent 99 off 58. And some decent bowling from the spinners, Harpreet Brar and Deepak Huda. Punjab were never in the game, really. They're 166 for 6, looked 15 runs short, and Delhi Capitals have made it look even shorter than that. They've won with 14 balls to spare by 7 wickets, and that's another cruise for the Delhi Capitals.
It is really. I mean, even when you have in these franchise games the top of the table against the bottom of the table, it's only top team's only going to win 2 out of 3 because of the variance of T20 cricket. But when you are playing a better team, you've got to do more to attack, to mix it up, to try to do something, not just turn up and bat and see what happens, which is kind of what I felt Punjab did, possibly apart from Agarwal in the later part of his innings. Sometimes you've got to really try to get ahead in a game with the risk of being beaten really badly, rather than just go through the motions and just lose, which is kind of what I feel.
Although the fact that net run rate can be such a massive factor, I think stops teams doing that sometimes.
Well, it shouldn't. I mean, you may well be right, but it shouldn't, because 1 win for 2 points is worth a million net run rates.
The thing is, the odds weren't in their favour, because coming into this, you would still say the Delhi Capitals would win it, but then Punjab lose their captain, they lose their best run scorer. Literally a couple of hours before the match, they've had to change their approach and how they do things, bring in David Malan for his first game, who is really geared up, even though he is your international top T20 player at the moment. But he's not going to come in and strike straight away. So really, this game was only going one way, and it went that way.
And Punjab's game Punjab's whole game, if you look at the auction, you look at the players they've got, relied on getting a lot of runs quickly with that top 4, and it just hasn't happened this season. Pooran's been so out of form that they've dropped him. I agree with what Andy said at the top of the show. I don't agree with the decision because a player like Nicholas Pooran is going to fire at some point, and at least he's not eating up deliveries. Like he's got some 3-ball ducks and 2-ball ducks and being run out without facing. That's probably less damaging than David Malan's innings of 26 off 26 today. In most games. Jimmy Neesham was on Twitter yesterday. He got out for a golden duck yesterday, and he was saying, I'd much rather get out for a golden duck trying to do the thing that will help my team than getting a not out.
Sure, that's what you need. I mean, it's the eternal conflict at every level of the game, and in very many fields of life, the interests of the individual versus the interests of the team.
But it does mean that Delhi Capitals, Punjab Kings don't have the bowling attack needed to defend middling totals on good pitches against good teams, and Delhi were just way too strong for them. Shikhar Dhawan ending 69 out of 47, not even really at his fluent best. Prithvi Shaw supercharged the innings at the top, 39 off 22. Stephen Smith really acted as a break on the innings, 25 off 22. Rishabh Pant wasn't really in long enough to make much of a difference, 14 off 11. looked good, but then got out. And Chimaron Hetmeyer finished it with a blizzard of activity, 16 off 4 balls. He's having a little chat with his Guyana Amazon Warriors mate, Nicholas Pooran. Ishant Sharma and Mohammad Shami having a little bit of a chat with each other, the Indian fast bowlers. So it's all very jovial. And Delhi Capitals go top of the table.
Anything else on Twitter, or are we good?
Ever so quiet. There's been some discussion at how Al has spelled indigo or inigo between a few people, but other than that, not much to add.
Yeah, it's been two very strong performances today. One by the Punjab Kings by the Rajasthan Royals with a stunning innings from Jos Buttler. His first T20 100. He hit. Was going at 3 runs a ball for his last 27 balls, and that was just far too much for the rather rabble-looking Sunrisers Hyderabad. And the Punjab Kings fought but were never really in the game. 166 for 6, chased down with ease by the Delhi Capitals, who go top of the table as we come into the second half of the tournament. They are top on 12 points. CSK and RCB are joint on 10 points, with CSK ahead on net run rate, and net run rate is also important for those playoff positions, because remember, finishing first or second gives you an extra bite at the cherry. Mumbai Indians hold the last playoff place on 8 points after their Pollard-inspired burgle against Chennai Super Kings yesterday. Rajasthan Royals and Punjab Kings are level on 6 points, with Rajasthan having the better net run rate. Kolkata Knight Riders are on 4 points, and the Sunrisers Hyderabad just the one solitary win on 2 points. We'll be back on Guerrilla Cricket. We'll be back with you on Tuesday for the Sunrisers Hyderabad against the Mumbai Indians, who are starting to get things together. That's at Delhi as well. We'll be here for that at 2:45 p.m. UK time. But until then, thank you to everyone who's been here. We've had Nestle boy Al Hotchkiss has been here all day, Tony Bishop, and we had Jacob Jaffa making a very assured debut earlier today. And thank you very much to Jules Farman, first time back for a while.
Nice to see you all. Stay safe and well, everybody.
Yeah, don't be a stranger. And Andy Ward.
Yep, see you soon.
And from me, Knuckle Pandey, and everyone else here at Guerrilla Cricket, it is goodbye.
Guerrilla Cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla Cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the cover boundary. At last the time is come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match.